nothing lasts to what God made, and that's the truth. But man, keep on trying to hold me back while another chicken head come on to lose. Too strong, try to do me wrong, and the last one standing will order and command you to dance. Oh, dance.
Well, tell your preacher and your teacher I'ma give you what you love. I got to give you what you love. It's time to give you what you love. Give you what you love. Give you some love. Yeah, baby. I said I take your time. Take what you love, baby, just enough. But never too much, baby. Take your time. Take what you love and work it, baby. Grab you better look at that, baby. Take your time. Take what you love, baby, just enough. But never too much, baby. Take your time. I wanna give you some love. Won't you give me what you love?
I am hoping you didn't hear me telling Michael, let's go. Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. It is cold outside. The snow done fell. The snow done fell. Lord have mercy. This is what happens when you try to mix the Queen's English with whatever it is, Ebonics or Patois. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you're hearing the sound of my voice or watching me on YouTube or Facebook, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and I am your host on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Listen, I have had, good afternoon, Gary, good afternoon, Malcolm White, good afternoon. Let's see who else. Raphael, Joey Dixon, good afternoon to all of you. You all make this so easy for me to come on here every day that I am on the air with you. I appreciate you all so much. If I could give you all a collective hug for the holidays, I would, because there are days when it was tough to come on the air because of all the things that were going on around the country, in my family, and so when I would get on here, some of you called all the time. I think you all found Miss Mary. Somebody told me you found, my husband said he thought he heard Miss Mary yesterday on the Black Women's Leadership Council. So I'm assuming she's alive and well and doing okay. But I just want to make sure she was fine. I have a full schedule today. Of course, I have plenty of time to talk to the WURD listeners. But I wanted to start off today by sharing something with you. This vaccine that has been pushed out by Pfizer, and one that is about to be given the green light today for Moderna, is causing quite an issue amongst us as people of color. White folks too, but black and brown people are having a serious issue about it, and there has been a divide in our community on what we should do. So much so that people are fussing, at each other about why we shouldn't take it or why we should take it. I am going to unequivocally say this to all of you. You choose what you want to do with your body. I saw Dr. Ayla Stanford this morning on MSNBC, and she was so forthright and so honest in the fact that she had misgivings about taking the vaccine at first. She said, of course she's a doctor, but she's a black woman first. And so it was not an easy choice for her to make. She already had the coronavirus. She contracted the virus and has the antibodies in her system, and was trying to decide if she should take the vaccine or not, only to realize that there were so many people following her. And I keep telling you, our platforms come with a lot of responsibility, which is why we can't get here and tell you what you should do one way or the other. Let me say this, we shouldn't. We should not tell you what you should do with your bodies one way or the other, right? But at the same time, we're asking you for grace on what we decide to do with our own bodies as hosts, radio show hosts on this station. And so Dr. Ayla, she said, look, so many people kept saying to her, if you take this, Dr. Ayla, and you trust it, we trust you. The bottom line is this: lots of us are dying. In Philadelphia, from December 2nd to the 15th, 15,170 people have died. I'm sorry. 15,170 people have contracted this virus. We've had 525,000 cases across the state of Pennsylvania so far, with 13,200 deaths. In Philadelphia, we had 84,061 cases. This is the most recent numbers that I got, with 2,254 deaths. There's 17 million people infected in this country right now, with 308,000 people dead. California, Texas, and Florida leading the death counts with 21,881, 25,078, and 20,203 respectively. This, whatever you may believe, whatever you may think, the fact of the matter is this virus is here. It's among us. People are dying, right? And so after watching Dr. Ayla, just almost tearfully, she said it was hard for her to go through that process and feel some, okay about it. That she did it because she knew it would help to save lives as other people did it. Now, let me say this. My husband and I have decided that we will take the vaccine when it comes. We both have comorbidities. We're both over the age of 50, and so we want to make sure that we're safe. We're not doing it lightly, however. We want to make sure that the allergic reactions, someone in Alaska had a severe allergic reaction, anaphylactic shock. We are going to see some of that happen, right? So we will decide when the time comes, because it will be months down the road before there is a vaccine available for regular folks like him and I, that whether we will take that vaccine or not. And that depends on how many people, how people are dealing with them as they get them, right? Some people said they've had a fever. Some people said they've had felt achy, but it only lasted for a few hours. Let me take Reverend Joe before Dr. Rachel Levin comes on the line at 1:15, because I know she has a hard stop. Good afternoon, Reverend Joe. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Ms. Andrea. I just want to call to wish you a healthy and a peaceful new year coming in. And I thank God for you on the radio. This disease is very serious, like you said. We just had a conference yesterday and a prayer, 1 hour prayer with Dr. Alexander. She at one time was the president of the National Medical Association in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. If you ever went on this show, she broke it all down to us, what we should do, what the serum is made of, and everything else. But she's in Philadelphia, so if you ever want to have her on your show, matter of fact, she'll be on WURD this Sunday. She's on the station every third Sunday of the month. But she was outstanding. So what you're doing now is so necessary, and I just thank God for you. But I really call this to wish you the best for the holidays.
Thank you, Reverend Joe. So listen, when I tell you that just about every black and brown family, we're having the conversations, including my husband and I. We follow the science, but we also know we both have been at the receiving end of medical professionals who were anything but professional, right? We've been at the receiving end of watching how certain folks go into a particular hospital, they come out alive. Black folks go in for a back pain and come out in a body bag, right? We've seen how they have not ever taken us. When I say they, I mean the collective they in the medical industry have taken us and our symptoms and what we go through seriously, to the point where we have to literally be dying before we show up in an emergency room. And I've watched over and again how medical professionals, nurses and doctors, look upon us with disdain and make these assumptions about us. I have been at the receiving end of that. I get it. I absolutely get it. What I also get, though, is that this virus is not just a thing that's sitting around in America and picking out black people. It's been around the world. Millions of people have been infected. They're also seeing, Reverend Joe, which I haven't seen much in the news yet, that a new strain of this diggity-dang virus is now roaming around. I think it was either South Korea or China that they noticed that there was a new strain of this virus, which this vaccine may not cover. But, of course, nobody's talking about that, and I get it, right? Because we're still just trying to get people to wear a mask. A mayor in Kansas quit her job because 1 in 10 people there refused to wear their mask. 1 in 10 of them were infected with the virus. And when she set up a mask mandate, they threatened her life. So she's like, you know what, my life is not worth it. These kinds of things are happening consistently. So it's not just black folks that are feeling this way. This is America in general. Amen. There's a whole cadre that are saying that this virus is a hoax, a whole cadre. And if you notice now, the virus is spreading more in the white counties, Allegheny County, where they just believe that this is all a hoax, right? And so you see it in the northern tiers of the country, South Dakota, North Dakota, Texas, you see it down in Florida, where the governor is not taking it seriously. I'm telling you, it literally is a ton of people are going to end up dying from this thing because too many people are just all over the place. And I quite frankly blame it on the fact that when it first became public knowledge for all of us,
Yes.
that too much was not told. We were not told too much, right? We were given all kinds of different angles about what this thing was. And by the time we realized that we should take it seriously, it was already too late and too many had already made up their minds. As a direct result, lots of people have died, right?
It's an equal
So,
opportunity disease.
yes, it is, right? It's not just plucking off, but because of Black people having all the comorbidities that we do. You look at me, I'm pretty healthy. I've been exercising for years on end, but diabetes runs in my family. So it was only a matter of time. So I had to make sure that once that hit me, and I see it all over the place in my family, that I wasn't going to sit and say, well, you know what, it's not going to impact me. No, I have to be sensible about this, you know? So again, you know, WURD listeners, I love you. I appreciate everything that you're saying and all that you want to say and do, but I am making a decision for me and my husband.
Amen.
You can make a decision for you and your family, right? But only time will tell how many of us are still left to talk about this year, 20 years from now, right? So, but thank you so much, Reverend Joe. I appreciate your
being
calling.
you. Keep the faith now.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, sir. All right, talk to you soon. Oh, Lord, I'm waiting for Dr. Levin to call in. Maybe Dr. Levin can help us a little bit. You know, I'm hoping, I'm not hoping. I am saying this to the medical industry now. I had some queries from medical doctors in medical schools asking if we could talk about implicit bias. You know, you want to spend the money on making sure that the people who are being trained to become doctors and nurses, not just in the state of Pennsylvania, but all around the country, start to take the lives of Black and brown people seriously. You are largely responsible for the fact that we don't trust you. You are largely responsible for the fact that we have, you know, you've treated us so horribly for so long that now that we're supposed to listen to you, we can't. You know, lots of people are going to die because they cannot. Dr. Levin is on, so this is good. Dr. Levin is currently the Secretary of State for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and Professor of Pediatrics and Psychiatry at the Penn State College of Medicine. She is on with Naimuma. Am I saying that correctly? Good afternoon.
Hello, this is Rachel Levine.
Hello, Dr. Levine. And who else is on the line?
This is Maggie Nemo in the press office.
Hello, nice to meet you. Welcome to The Source. Dr. Levine, I know you just got on the line, and I know you have a hard stop at 1:25. Did you hear what I was talking about?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So I am getting a lot of pushback from Black and brown folks around this vaccine. There are people who think that all I'm doing is pushing it. And I told them, I said, listen, I've decided from my house that my husband and I will take this vaccine, specifically after watching Dr. Ayla Stanford on MSNBC this morning. She had the vaccine yesterday, and she had such misgivings, and she was so honest about those misgivings. But I was also very clear, Dr. Levin, that Black and brown folks have not been treated well in the medical industry for too long, right? And so now when we need to have, to take it all seriously, too many of us are not. What do you have for us today, you and your guest?
Well, thank you very much for that question. I agree with you 100%. I think that there have been significant health disparities that have existed for decades and longer for the African American community and other Black and brown people. And so I think that the healthcare industry, medical schools, hospitals, health systems absolutely need to do a better job in terms of these healthcare disparities and a better job in terms of health equity. And now, as you said, we absolutely have to make whatever efforts are necessary to reach out to the African American community and other Black and brown communities to talk about the safety of these vaccines. There's going to most likely two, and the effectiveness of these vaccines, so that we can work to get people immunized, and we can help work to stop the spread of this contagious and dangerous virus.
Yes. And so your guest is on with us to discuss what particularly?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear who was on. So
so this is not someone with you?
This is
Who else is
Maggie
on?
in the press office.
Yeah,
And the-
this is our press secretary.
Hi. Now okay, now I
Maggie's
got it.
on
Okay,
just to
got
make
it.
sure that I get on and I'm all
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I fully appreciate. Thank you, Nadia. I appreciate you.
Of course.
So, Dr. Levin, give us an idea of the numbers. I saw Governor Wolf. Please tell me how he's doing. I know he contracted the virus and said he was feeling well. Let us know how he's doing, please.
Yes, Governor Wolf is doing very well. He did contract the virus. He did not really have symptoms, but it was found out that he had the virus on a routine screening. Then, of course, he isolated, and he is now tested negative, and he's fine. But thank you for asking.
Oh, okay. My pleasure. The next question I have for you, give us the raw numbers as you have them right now about the contractions in Pennsylvania and how many people have died.
Sure. Unfortunately, it's really tragic. We have had 13,392 deaths in Pennsylvania due to COVID-19 since March, and we had our first case, including 224 deaths reported today. We have had 529,335 cases and an increase of almost 10,000 today. We have 6,300 and more patients in the hospital and over 1,200 in the intensive care unit today throughout the state due to COVID-19. This virus is extremely contagious. It is really in all areas of Pennsylvania, urban, suburban, rural areas. All age groups are impacted. And, we need to do everything we can to stop the spread.
I agree.
What we have now is the opportunity to protect people from this virus with the Pfizer vaccine that's available now, and then hopefully the Moderna vaccine, and the FDA is meeting today to consider its approval.
Dr. Levin, so after you've given us those numbers, now I want you to tell me, if you can,
Sure.
are we going to get any more restrictions? Do we need to, are people adhering to the ones that you have out now? I recognize that you shut some places down, that you no more indoor dining, all of those things. Can you tell me if the numbers are continuing to spike, will there be any more restrictions added to us in Pennsylvania to keep us safe? That's the first thing. And then the second question is, what measures are going to be taken to encourage Black and brown folks to get this vaccine, if any?
Sure. So I don't anticipate further closures at this time. It's only been a week since we announced the current closures, and it takes at least several weeks to see the impact of those type of actions. So I remain hopeful that people will do the right thing, that people will stay home, that people will social distance, they'll wear masks, they'll wash their hands, and really not participate in large and small gatherings. I mean, it's the right thing to do. And I'm hopeful that we will not have to do any further closures, that we'll start to see the numbers stay steady and then start to go down. In terms of the vaccine, you are entirely correct. We need to have a very significant education campaign to minority communities, to vulnerable communities, to Black and brown people, to talk about the vaccine, to talk about their concerns, and perhaps the challenging experiences they've had with the medical industry, and to talk about the safety and the effectiveness of these vaccines and the way it's going to really help us all stop the spread and then get back to life as normal as we possibly can.
Yeah. Dr. Rachel Levin, I know you have to go because you have a hard stop, so I want to thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I'd love to be able to call upon you in the upcoming weeks so we can continue to educate and inform the listening audience. Is that okay?
That would be wonderful. I'm very pleased to come back anytime. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, thank you so much. You have a good afternoon.
You too. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I know I have callers on the line. I'm going to take you right after this commercial break. I need to meditate on some of these things that are going on around us. Want to buy black for the holidays? We have got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, Black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Seniors, does your doctor regularly reach out to check on you? Can you walk into your doctor's office and see them if you need to? Do you have your doctor's cell phone number and can you call them anytime, day or night? At Dedicated Senior Medical Center, their only specialty is caring for seniors. Dedicated makes it easy to get the primary care you deserve. Doctors spend more time with patients than the doctors you may be used to. They offer telehealth visits, help you get your medications, and even make sure you get to your appointments. If your doctor isn't treating you like family, it's time to say yes to Dedicated Senior Medical Center. Call Dedicated Senior Medical Center today to schedule a visit and find out what you're missing. Call 267-443-1900. That's 267-443-1900. Appointments are available now.
Tune in this Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. for the Islam Today show, with a perspective on moral guidance and Islamic principles and values.
As a business owner, hiring and developing people from the community that your company serves is one of the best ways to show commitment to that community. Let WURD Radio help with Livelihood, our new initiative that connects Philadelphians with companies like yours. We'll feature your business, open employment opportunities, and resources to connect your company with talent and ensure that you reach your target demographic. To learn more about how Livelihood can help you build your team, visit wordworks.com. That's WURD Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio, streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I had Dr. Rachel Levin, who is currently the Secretary of Health for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Professor of Pediatrics and Psychiatry at the Penn State College of Medicine, to discuss the Pfizer vaccine that has been out now for a few days and the impending Moderna vaccine. We do know that one person had a severe reaction to it in Alaska, but that is one out of thousands of people that are taking the vaccine. And we do expect people to have reactions to it. Not everybody is going to do well with this vaccine. That's part of the thing, which is why we ask people to do clinical trials. Black and brown folks are not necessarily the ones that are going to do it, and so it's been difficult to kind of figure out what's going on with us. I also know the first person that took the vaccine in New York was a nurse, a Jamaican nurse, because the Jamaicans are talking about it all over the place. So, look, one way or the other, we're going to have to figure this out, but people are still dying. And so that's where we are. I also discussed Dr. Ayla Stanford, who was on MSNBC this morning. She had her vaccination yesterday, and she, it was not without some sort of misgiving. Again, she says she's a doctor, she follows the science, but she's also a black woman too, right? And all that comes along with it. And so I have been having conversations, really telling doctors and nurses, whether you are currently working as a doctor or a nurse, or you're in medical school, to start taking those implicit bias courses. Please start to understand what your facial expressions mean, how you dismiss us in the hospital beds, how we feel unheard, how we are telling you we're having a pain and you're telling us that it's all in our heads. You've got to stop those things. And if you're walking around with those biases that you don't realize that you're walking around with that's unchecked, then lots more people are not going to trust you. There are certain hospitals in Pennsylvania I will not go to. I'm just going to be very honest with you, simply because of the way they treat their patients. You can put up a banner all you want about how much you love black and brown people, but what happens when we get into these hospitals make a difference, right? Not naming anybody, but I'm telling you, I already told my husband, if I get sick, you're going to pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and take me to that one, right? And that's simply because of the way I was treated, or my family members were treated, or people who got the wrong medication, or the way they were talked to while they were in those hospitals. We have got to do and be better, and spend the money to do the training around the implicit bias. Don't look at it and say it's too much money, because I'm telling you, it's now coming home to roost. The chickens are coming home to roost. We have black and brown folks who don't trust the medical profession, and we now have a bunch of white folks out here who are saying, well, the virus is much ado about nothing, and we're seeing a lot of them now in these rural areas and certain states that are falling over and dying. Texas ordered a bunch of body bags. California ordered 5,000 body bags. People are dying, y'all. This is not a conjecture. Gary, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Andrea?
Ooh, child.
You know what? I want to say this before I forget. I'm not going to forget, but I want to say I love you, sister. You know what? I feel, and I know your love and compassion that you have for our people, and it's very sincere, and I respect that. You know, a lot of our people who are in certain positions that look like us, that sincerity is not really there. It's just all about them. So I just want to say that to you. You know, right now, when it comes to taking the shot for the virus, I'm going to tell you, I'm on the fence. So one of the big reasons when
That's
we look
real
at
talk. Go ahead.
Our real history, the way they experimented on us, and especially our women, they experimented on our women. Sarah Barton. I mean, we can go down some list of names to help perfect their techniques, so to speak, or whatever they, you know, the process they were performing. But they used our people as guinea pigs, and that's why a lot of us are very skeptical. Not because we don't want to be safe, or we are just ignoring this disease or illness. It's because we don't trust the government. We don't trust the medical field. I can remember years ago, my mother died of breast cancer, and I'm not going to name the hospital now. I was at the hospital with her, and there was really nothing else they could do. They had her hooked up all to these machines, and I just was watching her and observing her. And I was in the hospital, and it was right before I got married, my fiancée. We were sitting there watching my mom, and she was in pain. I went to the nurse's station. I said, hey, my mother needs some more medication. She's in a lot of pain. Well, the woman looked at me with an attitude, well, we just gave her medication. But you don't know what I almost did in that hospital. All of a sudden, one of the doctors came by. He apologized upside down. I was ready to tear that hospital up. But they don't treat us with the same concern, courtesy, and respect, and that's just real. That's why our people feel the way we feel.
Yep, and that's why I can't blame us for feeling the way that we feel, right? And so it's like sitting on the fence. My husband and I have been watching this now for months on end, and we did know that we had to take care of ourselves and to practice caution, which we did. I'm back in my house, right? Can't go out to exercise, all those things, because if my husband contracts this virus, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, he's going to die. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm practicing common sense. But Gary, let me tell you, there are plenty of folks who are just like, look, they've never treated us well. What can I say to my people? I cry, right? Because I know some of us are going to die because we've just been treated so horribly for so damn long, right? That now we just don't trust anybody who says anything to us. And,
go
ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, one of the things I do a lot of reading, and I try to keep myself in shape, great shape, and eat right and do all those things. You know, we got to have a strong immune system too. We got to make sure that we get all those vitamins and nutrients we need to keep our immune system strong. So that's where I'm at right now. So as far as taking it back then, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm on the fence. And that's just the honest to God's truth.
Yeah,
I'm on the fence right now.
I can't be mad at you, my brother. I cannot.
And I'm going to say our people have suffered. So, matter of fact, when this Trump administration came in, he was handed everything from the Obama administration. They knew this was coming on. They did nothing to act on it. Absolutely nothing to act on it or warn the people. And some of those same hateful people that support this guy, they've lost their lives and family members, but they're still going to go with him. That tells you how deep the racism and hate in this country. And I'm just going to leave on this. America would not exist if it was not for my ancestors.
Come on.
Read the history and find out who created all this technology and advances, and we get treated like trash. And I'm going to say this, I know this is the last thing, but our people who represent us that look like us, I have real issues with a lot of them.
Yeah. Let me say this to you.
I want to say this to you, Andrew. If you ever run for office, I'm on your team. Trust me. Please.
Man,
I'm on your team.
Listen, I would burn this place down. Nope. I can't. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
You know, Andrew, I worked in the city government for many years. Like I said, in the city control, I've seen it. Like all the topics we talked about today, school and all that. I've seen it all. I witnessed it all. And we have people that look like us in office. And Andrea, nothing. I keep telling people all the time. People only do to you. My mother used to say this to me, Gary. People only do to you what you allow them.
You allow
We've
them
allowed
to. There
too many
you go.
people to step on us and take advantage of us, and a lot of them look like us, Andrew.
Yeah, but let me say this to you, Gary. It takes courage, right? It takes courage. When you have been browbeat to death and being told that you can't do, and you know we only have space for one or two. What I want my people to realize is just how not just resilient we are, but just how brilliant we are. Lots of people that are in business and industry that are making millions of dollars today took our ideas. They go on social media. They scout all the things that we've been doing because see, we didn't have the money to get the LLCs, and we were just trying to do a thing. And they took our ideas and patented it and made millions of dollars from it, right? So that's why the voice that I use on this radio is to say, hey, if you're going to do this, be quiet about it for a little while, right? Don't give a name. Do not put out your logo. Don't do all those things right away. Just say, I'm trying to think, sell what you can, and make sure you start putting your money away to do what you need to do so that it can be done legally. So when these things like the PPP loans come out, forgiveness loans come out, we can apply for them, you know? Things like that is what I am talking about. We're too brilliant. We're the smartest. There are things that we have created, that we have put together that people won't even give us credit for, right?
Hey,
something as simple as Black Lives Matter movement and Me Too, black women, right? But they want to give credit to somebody else. We have got to start standing up and saying enough is enough. And for the black folks who, you know who you are, I don't have to call your name because you live in your little bubbles of who she thinks she's talking to. I'm talking to you, right? Who have consistently collected paychecks and not taking care of your people. Do you not know? It's only a matter of time before all of that comes back to you. Whatever you put out has no choice but to come right back to you, right? So practice love and fidelity and integrity. Not just when you're dealing with black and brown people, but with all people. That's what I want to see us do.
Hey, Andrew, I just want to end on this. You know, when you look at history, I'm going to say Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wilmington, North Carolina. What did they do to those towns that were prosperous and the people look like us? We need to wake up and smell the coffee. And I'm going to say our priorities are too mixed up with entertainment, sports. I'm not hating on anybody, but we'll go out there and stand 2 nights in the rain with some tickets to a game. You better get those people in office that aren't serving us, replace them, and let's move forward for our agenda. We created modern civilization. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you. You have a good one. All right, Bobby from Southwest, line 2. How are you?
I'm good, baby. Hello.
Lord, how you doing?
I'm fine, sweetheart. You on fire, so I don't even have to ask.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Some days, I get on here and I'm like, okay, let's figure out how we can support our people. I never want to negate what we're going through, ever. Because I see it, I live it, I experience it, right? But we have a voice. We are more powerful than they would prefer for us to believe. Let me share this with you, Bobby. So many of our little black and brown children in school are held back, put in special ed, done this, done that. They get out of the K-12 education system, go to college, struggle like hell, right? Finally find their footing and end up with masters and PhDs. We are brilliant. Even when you try to put your foot in your neck and bury us, we continue to rise up. Do you understand? Because we're seeds. We continue to grow.
We black, we bold, we are beautiful, and we are brilliant. We have to teach that to our children. But this is where I want to go, please. I want to speak briefly about the virus, the antibody that they're trying to test people on.
Yes.
I took science for a long time, but I've lost them. But I started thinking again. The serum that they're using is T cells from people who recuperated from it.
Yes, so that's how the president recovered and all his friends. Yes.
Wait a minute, he go to trial. Here's the trial. The T cells, the trial is to see if that T cell can work in other people's body and either prevent it, the virus, or help cure it. So that's the part I had to think. It's the T cell because that's the fighter of the body. But the T cell is a defense. It doesn't like contact with other foreign elements because it'll go to war. There's the experiment. Will it bind cells and not fight it off. That's the trial. That's it. Now, I'm asking that if there's any doctor out there that wants to say, oh, she's wrong, please come on WURD and explain. Because you've been telling us as a people to come take this test, but you're not explaining to us the content of the elements that you're using to put into our body. And again, we must use thinking. We must say why. Then I want to talk about the charter school. Earlier I heard a young lady, she was talking about the black charter school. I'm so glad. I am so glad because when I was a child, they saying the same song that people are singing today. Children not learning. They can't read. If there's black educators and people who can come together and pick up those problems for children and bring them to a system of education whereby they learn and they excel, because the brilliance is in the mind, but you have to design it for the children. And finally, as I always say, thank you, WURD. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome, Ms. Bobby. Love you. Have a happy holiday if I don't talk to you soon, okay? Bye-bye. So listen, Ms. Bobby made a very clear point. Jamaica is considered a third world country. We don't have a lot of the things that are flowing freely here, which is why you see people come from different places to, okay, that's my 140. See so many people coming from different places to live here in the United States, because it is considered the land of the free, the home of the brave, the land of opportunities. But in small places like that island where opportunities are not flowing so freely, and if you have if you're able to grow up with a nanny or a housekeeper in your house, we learn very quickly growing up that we are not only not to step on the necks of anybody who is less fortunate than us, we learn that we are to step up and to help in any way that we can. And so what we see happening in Jamaica a lot of the times, the people who are able to make it out of poverty turn around and go back and grab this one and that one and buy their school uniform, buy their school books, help them to pay for their college tuition, help them to pay for certain things. And as they grow and excel, they then turn around and help to, and so that's how we've managed to continue to consistently help each other. My nephew David is now a bona fide medical doctor, and when he was struggling emotionally, because it's hard. They put you through so much in Jamaica to become a physician. And my sisters would call and check on him and sit on my other sister to make sure that he was okay. And the same thing with my sons. If one of my sons are going through something, my sisters will jump in. We all step up and say, we're all a family. If my cousins need something, because that's the way we were raised. It's called out of many, one people. We don't have the time to sit around and look and say, that's your problem, I don't have time for it, right? When you see people are struggling, you step in the gap to help them, and not step in the gap so that you can get accolades for it. Don't step in the gap so you can have your name in lights. You step in the gap because it is the right thing to do. My next guests are on, so I'm just going to stop right here. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live from WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is a number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
This message is from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. COVID-19 is still a threat in our communities, but we can all do something simple to help stop the spread. It's critically important to wear a mask or face covering whenever you're in public or around others. Yes, even while social distancing. Wearing a mask shows you care for yourself and your community and is essential to slowing the spread of COVID-19. So love yourself, love your neighbors, wear a mask.
Buying something from a dealer just sounds a bit, well, put it like this. My cousin Ray Ray got arrested for buying something from a dealer. So why would you want to buy your car from a dealer? Hi, everybody. This is Nick inviting you to buy your next car from Jerry over at Cardex. See, they're not dealers. They're like a car concierge service. They design a car around you. Almost any make. If it's not on the lot, they'll go out and get it for you. So use my car concierge, where I've already bought 4 cars. Cardex at 116 East Glenside Avenue in Glenside, Pennsylvania. Check them out online at cardexinc.com or call Cardex at 215-886-3230.
What's up, everyone? I know you know the word, no, not the station, but this word, J-O-B that is, and our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to Word Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app. Or watch live on Word TV via Facebook and YouTube. Word Radio. Independent Black Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Before I get to my next guest, I'm going to take Maurice, but I want to just tell you this. This just in. Only in America. Nearly 24 people, including current and former students of UNC, Duke, and Appalachian State Universities, have been charged in connection with the investigation of a large-scale drug ring, local and federal enforcement officials announced today. Many of the 21 people charged were connected with the Phi Gamma Delta, Kappa Sigma, and Beta Theta Pi fraternal organizations, officials says. These are not black people. The investigation is continuing and more charges are possible. Thursday's news conference was held to save lives, said Matthew G.T. Martin, U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of North Carolina, who was joined at a news conference by Orange County Sheriff Charles Blackwood and other law enforcement officials. The investigation revealed that the drug ring moved thousands of pounds of marijuana, several hundred kilograms of cocaine, LSD, Molly, mushrooms, steroids, human growth hormones, Xanax, and other narcotics through very sophisticated methods, Martin said. The money earned from those sales has not been determined yet, but it is estimated at over $1.5 million. But we're in the black neighborhood talking about black people are the ones that are running the drugs, right? All right, moving right along. Maurice, let me take you quickly, honey, before I take my guest. How are you?
Hello, Mother.
How are you, darling? Did you find Miss Mary for me?
No, I'm still upset, but when I talk to you, I calm down.
What's going on?
Because all these problems that Philadelphia has, right? Mm-hmm. You seem to be the only one that actually talks about the problems that we have. We don't need to outsource problems in here about what other people are doing until we handle our own. Just like when we're dealing with white people, until we handle our own black people, we don't need to be messing with no white folks. We got to get ourselves under control first. And what makes me mad is the situation with city council, the situation with the school board.
What happened? Hold on. Stop for a second, Maurice. What happened with the school board yesterday? Because I heard they were giving Dr. Height a tea for the fever. About not Dr. Height, the mayor, because of the 9 people that applied for the board. And folks were complaining that it was much ado, something, I can't, Lord, it's just so much going on. I tried to follow it all, but the people were saying.
The problem is, don't do that. See, that's the problem. Don't try to follow. All that is the shell game that City Hall has been playing with us since the beginning. Break it down to the simplest things. I learned one thing from Dr. Lomax 15 years ago. And he wasn't even talking to me. He was talking to somebody else, but I was ear hustling. And he said, why walk around the block when all you got to do is cross
the street? Exactly.
And what he meant by that, the way I took it is, if you're upset and you're on the radio here talking about bad education, kids not learning something, what you do is you bring in somebody from the school board and grill them. You don't keep talking about them. You bring them in and answer up. Same thing with the police department. We all know that the only person that runs the police department is McNesby. You're calling McNesby. Can we please talk to you?
You know what? I'm going to ask Brianna to call McNesby, to reach out to McNesby and see if we can get him in here. Because you're right.
But here's the biggest one. Now, the hardest one is going to be when you call in city council, because all of them are a bunch of jokers, each and every one of them. With these tiny houses nonsense, and with this $400 million program that they schemed up in the middle of the night. They have done nothing to improve black people since they've been in there.
Well, wait a minute. So hold on, Maurice. I'm just learning that somebody that I know quite well is on the short list for the school board. Okay. All right. There's at least one person, two people that I can vouch for should they get on that. I can't say it now unless it happens. But there's at least two people that are running for that board that I can absolutely vouch for, and I can sit in their necks as it applies to our children.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. I didn't heard all that before, but the problem is it's not the people that you think that are good to go in there. The problem is the whole system. You got to have a paid school board. They got to be able to feel the same pain that we feel. They got to know what a quart of milk costs. They got to know what housing costs, affordable housing costs.
Did you say a paid school board, sir?
Yeah, because they're not paid.
Yeah, I sat on a school board for 8 years and wasn't paid, and did it with fidelity. What you talking about?
No. Well,
they don't have to be paid to do work.
Philadelphia is full of politics. It's done. Most things are done on favors, and with the school board that we're not picking. The mayor picks who he wants on the school board. Let's get that straight, people.
So you want an elected? So you want an elected school board?
Yeah, but we don't have one. We may pick 4 or 5 people, but he says which one he can rule the best. That's the one he's going to pick.
Okay.
People pay attention. That's all I'm saying. Pay attention to the shell game that's being played and stop all this whining I be hearing on the radio. People being so subservient every time that a politician comes around and he's a good guy. They're not good people. If they were good people, the city wouldn't be in the state it's in now. We wouldn't have the murder rate.
All right. Well, thank you, honey. Call me back a little bit later because I have some guests waiting, and I'm now 9 minutes past talking to them. Talk to you soon. All right. Oh, deep breath, Andrea. Can you put the 2 guests on, please? I want to make sure that I say their name properly. Laura Dijol.
Hi.
Laura, did I say your name properly?
D-Hole, like Hole.
D-Hole. See, this is why I asked. D-Hole. And dear Matthew Smith?
Yes, Deacon Matthew Smith.
Deacon Matthew Smith.
Yes.
Okay, Deacon Matthew Smith. I just want to make sure. Good afternoon to the both of you. I want to bring people's attention to the fact that there's a copy of the document from the Department of Justice, which was prepared after they did an assessment of our Philadelphia Police Department because of charges that the department has been using excessive force and discriminating against black people in this city. Deacon Matthew Smith, President, and Sister Paula P., chapter leaders. Deacon Matthew Smith, President, and Sister Paula Peoples, chairlady, has submitted requests to the United States Department of Justice to come in and conduct an investigation into our Philadelphia Police Department for abuse of power over several years. The police commissioner at that time was Commissioner Charles A. Ramsey, who made a request to the Justice Department in 2015. I remember that. Hence, a member of the local chapter of the National Action Network, Philly NAN, she attended the meeting held at the church located, Greg Holston, Reverend Greg Holston. Yep. So good afternoon to the both of you. What would you like to tell us about what's happening?
Deacon Smith? Is he on?
I don't know. Maybe muted.
What I'd like to say is, I'm a concerned citizen. I've lived in Philadelphia most of my life, except for about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. I'm a Virginian by birth. Mm-hmm. And I feel, as a concerned citizen, and an activist. I consider myself an activist. I try to get information.
I can hardly hear you.
You can hardly hear me. Let me try the volume. How you doing?
Okay.
Can you hear me better?
Okay, yes.
Yes. So what I try to do is when I get information, I try to pass it on. I consider myself a servant leader. That's what I do. I try to be helpful. I try to remember to treat my neighbors as I would like to be treated, and to do good to all people, and whenever it's possible. And so because I remember growing up in Philadelphia as a child, and I don't remember the police treating people like that. Now, of course, I could be, looking through rose-colored glasses at my childhood, but the police used to walk the beat. They used to be seen readily, and we used to teach one another to respect the police, and we could always go to the police for help. And what I'm seeing now, based on the number of altercations, the number of people, especially black men in this city, who have been shot and without, I feel, due justice. They're not supposed to be the police, the judge, and the jury. They're supposed to conduct themselves and care for the public and help to protect them. So these incidences, they seem to just continue to recur, and we haven't seen, I don't feel, the proper response in helping to correct the situation with the Philadelphia Police Department.
Okay. I'm going to take a quick break, and then when we come back,
Certainly.
yes, if you can find Deacon Matthews, because he's not on.
All
Deacon
right.
Matthews Smith is not on. So I'm going to take a quick break. Thank you. Hold on one second.
Thank
you are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Step by Step Home Care Professionals is one of Philadelphia's fastest growing black-owned home care employers, and they are hiring. If you are a caring, nurturing, and compassionate person who enjoys helping people in need, Step by Step Home Care Professionals is looking to hire you. Go to sbshome.care to complete an employment application. That's sbshome.care, or call 610-321-3108 for more information, and ask for Monet. Step by Step Home Care Professionals is hiring today.
Looking for employment? JD's Auto Body and Painting is hiring. They have 2 positions if you have 5 years experience in auto body and framework. Also seeking painter with 5 years experience. And if you have experience as an A or B assembler, JD's Auto Body can be the place for you. Please call JD's Auto Body at 215-848-5949 or email jdsautobodyandpainting@comcast.net. Do you want to help kids in foster care? CASA Youth Advocates is seeking volunteers of color to advocate for the youth they serve. 50% of kids in the Delaware and Chester County foster care system are children of color, yet only 9% of CASA Youth Advocate volunteers are people of color. Children in foster care greatly benefit from advocates who look like and can relate to them. They desperately need more volunteers of color. Visit delcocasa.org for more info. That's www.delcocasa.org.
Want the latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media. Tune in every Saturday at 6 p.m. to Recovery Talk 101 with your host, Rick Ford, talking about addiction, treatment, and recovery. Right here on Word Radio.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I have on the line Laura D. Hall, and can you hear me?
Yes.
There's an echo behind me. Do you have any radio or
I'm
anything
sorry,
on?
I had turned the radio on.
Oh, okay. All right, good. And NAN chapter president, Deacon Matthew Smith, on the line, talking about a document from the Justice Department that was prepared after they did an assessment of the Philadelphia Police Department. Deacon Matthew Smith, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I am so good. So tell us, first of all, tell the people who have no idea what NAN is. Tell them what NAN is first, and then we'll go into talking about this issue.
NAN is the National Action Network. Under the national leadership of the Reverend Al Sharpton, who is located in Harlem, New York. This is the Pennsylvania chapter located here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at 57 East Ames Street. And what NAN does, NAN deals with discrimination, all discrimination.
What is that noise I'm listening to? Someone, just know that when we're live on the air, so whatever noise you make near your phone, we can hear it. And I want the WURD listeners to hear it clearly. So you said NAN deals with discrimination?
We deal with all sorts of discrimination, whether it's education, employment, whatever. We deal with discrimination, and people call us. We do not solicit people, even if we are aware of something having occurred. People call us and ask for our intervention, and we gladly do it, even with the most controversial cases.
All right. So how long has the Philadelphia chapter been there?
The chapter is 13 years old.
Wow.
December the 13th is our birthday. We just had a birthday.
Okay. Now tell me about this case with the Justice Department and the Philadelphia Police Department. What's going on there?
During that time, with all the things that had happened regarding excessive force in the police department at that time, it was necessary. NAN intervened with many letters, many documentation of cases, and the information was hand-carried down to the United States Justice Department in Washington, D.C., and as a result of that, the United States Justice Department came up with some recommendations of a number of things that the Philadelphia Police Department was guilty of when it came to excessive force. So at that time, there were meetings here in Philadelphia with some of us who might be even on the line today. I was one of them that was included. And it went over these things. Some things have been worked on and so-called corrected. There's still some things that we feel that have not been put in complete compliance.
Okay.
The
All right.
whole area of excessive force.
So it looks like it says what this person wants to know is, why haven't the recommendations been applied to the members of the Philadelphia Police force during the subsequent 5 years from 2015 to now? Perhaps Mr. Walter Wallace Jr.'s life and others may have been spared. So what are the things that were recommended that they're following in the Philadelphia Police Department, and what are the things that were recommended that are still not being followed in your estimation, sir?
One of the things, and even another policy came out of that whole stop and frisk issue, because we felt that a number of black and brown people were unlawfully stopped and frisked. And that so-called had been recommended that the Philadelphia police work on. And that was one of the things that have never been worked on to the point that it has discontinued. It still continues.
So So you do realize that stop and frisk was on the ballot in this election and it passed. So they're working on stopping that now. Were you aware of that, sir?
Yes, I am. But that was November, and even though this is just December, we have not heard anything that the police department is working on in the process of implementing. You know, we go from time to time with the old phraseology of we're working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it.
Yeah, we hear that a lot, sir. We hear that a lot from education to
Just because you know, even with it having been on the ballot and passed, we're still not so sure of whether it will be worked on and, of course, when. It should have been, you know, it should have just been a thing that on the next day, November the 4th, we should have heard some kind of report card, because if they had been working on it all the time, it wouldn't have taken the voters to okay it, for them to acknowledge at that point, well, we have some information for you. You could have said that on November the 4th.
I got you. So what is it that you are looking to have happen now during this interview? What are the solutions that you're seeking now moving forward?
We want citizens involvement.
You want citizens involvement, okay?
Just telling us that the police department is working on it, and then they shift from there to the number of murders in the city, for which we know is high, but even before this high number of murders, we didn't get no true information from you as to what you've been doing. So our thing is let's get this done. Let's stop fooling around with this. People are getting killed time after time. We had the Wallace case in West Philly with excessive force. We had another case, the Mitchell case on the 29th, should have been right during the time of the George Floyd murder. And in Frankfurt, there are a number of cases on the books in Philadelphia which show that the probability of excessive force hasn't been used. So all we have to do is just get it done.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. How do we get people to join NAN? Because the efficacy of these organizations need to continue growing. What are you doing to recruit folks to be a part of NAN so that you can have more voices at the table to help you do what you do?
We're presently doing our recruitment through the Black Clergy, through the Baptist Ministers Conference, through our educational, our fraternal and sorority groups, and the local church as a whole, as well as, and let us also include the mosque and local churches, and it's putting out information on an ongoing basis, mouth to mouth, with people that we come in contact with, and of course, the people who become victimized, who seek our services. We do not charge anyone, so no one gives us any money. So as a result of that, we ask that they encourage other people to become a fighting force with our organization. Our organization now meets virtual on the second Saturday from 11 to 1 o'clock, and ordinarily we would be meeting at our organization site, 57 East Haines Street. But our telephone number is 215-769-1513. and we'll get back with you right away because we need you.
215-769-1513, right, if you want to join, to become a part of NAN. Miss Laura, how did you get involved in all of this?
I joined NAN, I guess, a little over a decade ago because I was looking for a civil rights or organization that was, I felt, doing something.
Turn down the volume behind you because we're getting an echo.
I don't have anything on. Nothing.
No, what is? All right, Michael, take a look, see what's going on your end so we can figure it out. Go ahead, Miss Laura. My apologies.
No problem. And I'm sorry for the disturbance. As I said, I was looking for an organization that I felt was really out there doing something with the people, meeting with the people and trying to address the concerns. And that's how I joined NAN. It was during the time when we had the former school superintendent, the late Dr. Arlene Ackerman. And, you know, we had a whole lot of things that were going on with regards to that. And I just want to say we still need to do something about this school district of Philadelphia with their budget of $4 million now. It was about $3 billion rather.
Billion, right.
And here we are today, and it's now, I think, $3.4 billion with a B. So, I feel that a lot of this is intertwined. The lack of proper education, miseducation of our children. Once the school district became even, more and more people of color, I like to say black people primarily, then there was less and less support for the school district of Philadelphia. And, of course, we know that education plays an extremely important part in the way criminality develops.
Right.
Also, I was concerned about the fact that our young people they don't have jobs. They live in these neighborhoods. Once we had the riots back in, what was it, the 60s? They haven't really focused on improving the neighborhood for black people. Yes, they come in after decades, and then they say they have whatever it is, a revitalization program or whatever, and we don't get to benefit from it. And here we are right now today with this 10-year tax abatement that we are continuing to pay, and millionaires and very wealthy people don't have to pay the taxes that we pay.
Here's my question, Miss Laura, and I'm asking this of you and Deacon Matthew Smith. I have only been on this airwave permanently as a host for about a year.
Yeah.
I've only lived in this city for a short period of time. What I am noticing is that it's the same conversations about the same things that are happening over and again. What is it that makes us then, as a community, vote in the same folks when we see what is wrong? Where do you see the disconnect that we continue to be this way?
Some of the disconnect, my dear, is there have been people who have tried to run for office, and they end up having their petitions rejected because they question the validity of the signatures on those petitions, and they whittle it down until it's an unacceptable, rejected petition. That's one thing. Number two, I don't believe that the Democratic Party, which is the main party that has, the majority of the seats, I don't believe that they actually support, shall we say, minority movement into positions of authority in this city.
Okay.
And they need financial backing.
I agree with you there.
So they're not really welcoming to new visionary people who want to make the necessary changes. I used to attend the School Reform Commission meetings for years. And guess what? Parents showed up teachers and pupils showed up. And they not only protested, they submitted proposals, they submitted all kinds of recommendations. And what did the SRC do? They sat there and looked at them and decided to do what they had already made up in their minds they were going to do. These are the kinds of things we have to deal with in this city. And I think the city council, they know people didn't want the 10-year tax abatement, but what did they do? They still have it, and I think they extended it a little bit. Those are the things. That's why we do what we do. I think we're just so depressed and oppressed,
right,
that it's very difficult to be able to overcome.
All right. I have some thoughts that I'm going to keep to myself because I like to work quietly. Because folks don't know.
I happen to hear that.
Yeah, I like to work quietly. There has to be, you know, we have said this, and I said this when I first moved into the township where I lived for 27 years before I came to Philadelphia. And they would say, it's never been done before. It's never been done before. It's not, you can't, it's never been. And I looked at them and I said, well, all it takes is for one person. And everything that they said was never done before, we ended up doing it, right? But it really comes down to being able to stick with what we decide to do, work in a cadre that is really airtight and getting things done without folks knowing that you're behind it and getting it done. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot that needs to be done in this city, and I'm watching it all unfold, and I just, it's horrible. We tend to, you know, celebrate folks being on the news, being made celebrities here. And to me, it's unconscionable that we would be considering folks celebrities while the communities that they're supposed to be serving consistently are falling apart. And so there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way.
There is a better way.
Yeah,
there is a better way. We just haven't come together and agreed upon it.
Yeah.
And move forward. And
then go ahead.
And enacted it.
Yes, and then work on our traumas while we're doing that, you know? I had an opportunity to sit with Harry Belafonte, really right by his feet. Like, it sounds cliche-ish, but one of the things he said to the group of us that was in this room this day, and it was a small group of us that got invited to this thing, he said, listen, people my age, we fought like hell to get the things that we had, and then we dropped the ball and didn't pass it on to the younger generation. And he said, now I'm joining, you know, I'm trying to figure out at my tender age, because Harry Belafonte is up in age, right?
Yes.
He says, now I'm trying to figure out ways to bring in, you know, to work with the younger generations. And I am watching now around the country, young people, AOC, Pete Buttigieg, who is a millennial, they're starting to rise up. So I know it is absolutely possible. And there are some young ones in Philadelphia that I am absolutely watching too, right? That I think is going to come in when folks least expect it and do what needs to be done to remove some of the dead weight that sits around us. I don't think not a politician should be celebrating about anything in this city while we continue to struggle and suffer on so many levels. It makes no sense to me. None. And so the murder rate is going to continue to go up. People are going to continue to sit in their stew in their despair. The trauma is so deep on so many levels, and we have folks that have been at this for so long. We really need to start finding ways to invite and invest in younger generations so we can continue to keep the fight going. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of suggestions.
Yes.
I think we definitely need to do something about this police department's contract. And we have to address some of those major problems. The arbitration process. The fact that they have what they call qualified immunity, is that it? And I feel that police are being given more rights than the citizens. I think we need to go back to the drawing board and re-examine that.
So at the federal, one more thing, let me say this to you quietly. When you say that to me, at the federal level in Congress, They already passed laws that would stop all of that qualified immunity from happening. It's just the Senate is holding it up. So I'm assuming that when President-elect Biden gets into office, and hopefully we'll overturn those 2 Senate seats in Georgia, that we'll be able to go back and revisit this law, a series of laws that were passed. I'll have Congresswoman Dean, on the line to talk about it, because it will take away the qualified immunities. It would make sure that police officers who are the high flyers, find themselves in a place where they have to answer to the things that they're doing, and many of them are going to end up losing their jobs. So there's that. And then Governor Wolf has a police commission advisory council, is what they're calling it. And I was one of those people that was appointed to that commission. And there are things I cannot talk to you all about, but please understand, a shift is coming, right? This is not something that we're going to sit down and shift things around and just have conversation. This is a real working commission. So I'm heartened by some of those things that are getting ready to happen. But, at the same time, let's figure out how we can continue to push the needle and get more young people involved and invested into the processes, because it's not going to, power seeds nothing without a struggle. And we know this, and we cannot afford to rest.
That's right.
Correct.
That's true. That's true. Because Philly has to move away from that soap opera type discussion. You have, if you've ever looked at a soap opera, you could look at it today and not look at it again until 6 months from now, and then when you turn on the TV 6 months from now, they'll be talking about the same stuff that you were talking about today.
Yeah.
And
one last thing I would like
to
add.
Go ahead, Madam.
And that is, I believe the police, when there is an officer-involved shooting, that the police don't have to give a report right away. I believe they have a few days in which they have to file it. Now, anyone who's involved in a crime, they don't have 3 days to give their testimony. So I think that's unfair.
It is unfair.
I think it needs to be changed. And that's just another on a list of many things. But those are 3 that I'd like
people
to really address.
Stories together.
Yes, and to get their union rep and their lawyers. So yeah, you're right. It's so sad, because we need police departments across our Commonwealth and around the country, and there's so many that are there that are, I one of the people that I mentor is a police officer, and she struggles as a Black woman and a police officer, and what that means for her, the things that she has seen. And even as someone in blue, she's gone through so much, right? Because her peers, her white peers that wear those same uniforms, are not kind, and they don't treat them well, the black and brown ones. And so we've been having those conversations for a while now, and there are things that are going to have to change. But again, it's a powerful organization that was allowed to become powerful over time, and so it's going to take a little bit of time or quite a struggle to get people to start to shift and see that some folks just do not need to be police officers, so we can get back to the place where people are doing what they need to do to keep our communities safe without Black and brown people dying with impunity. I want to thank you both so much for being a part of this conversation. I wish you all a good holiday, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Yes,
thank you very much. It was a great
and
pleasure.
A blessed holiday to you and your family, and to all of our WURD family.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good one. Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having us.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir. You too. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye now.
You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
What's up, Philly? It's Solomon Jones. The school year is underway, but never before has that experience come in so many shapes and sizes. Is the education of your child being left to a smattering of clumsy, in-person, and virtual instruction? The COVID-19 crisis has created a market for untested virtual teaching models lacking true credibility. Maybe it's time to reconsider and check out Commonwealth Charter Academy. Here are the benefits to your family. 1. An online education provided at no cost to you, complete with laptop, headset, and help with internet access. 2. Partnership with the market leader in cyber education with a nearly 20-year track record of world-class learning. 3. Delivery of a safe, reliable, and comfortable education experience over the internet directly to the confines of your living room. Visit ccaeducate.me today and discover the gold standard of cyber education. That's ccaeducate.me.
A holiday message to help us all and answer an important question.
We will never know how many of our friends and family members didn't get COVID-19 because we followed safeguards. We'll never know that number. This is Dan Hilferty, CEO of Independence Blue Cross, with a simple reminder of how much good we do for others when we protect ourselves. We'll never know how many lives we save because we wear masks, wash our hands frequently, and keep social distance. We'll never know exactly who we help, who we save when we take protective steps each day. We'll only know one thing for certain, that we did all we could to save people from the effects of a pandemic with the potential to overwhelm the region. And that's a nice thing for us to live with. Thank you all. For more on what you can do, visit ibx.com. Together, we are beating COVID-19.
He's back.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
In times like these, we have to stay connected.
At a brand new time.
Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
I'm excited that Keeping It Real returns to WURD.
Keeping it real.
With the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
This program is pre-recorded.
No phone calls, please.
Keep it locked to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM, WURDradio.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Oh, my Lord, the Philadelphia, the Facebook page. Joseph said, Marva, hello from sunny and hot South Florida. The Philadelphia FOP is a criminal organization. They should be prosecuted under the Federal RICO Act. Phew, Lord have mercy. Malcolm White says, the arbitration system is about politics. I used to work for SEPTA and our union was broken because of shift in the politics from Democrats leaning to Republican. There needs to be the same shift that would affect the FOP. It's a pay-to-play and numbers game between unions and management. If we don't do something soon in this city, we are going to be in the national news in a way that is not tenable. We have to figure out ways to make this better, right? Chicago is struggling. Other cities and states are struggling, but right here, you know, we have to focus on what's happening with us locally and what that means to us as we move forward. If you want to call in, do it now. My next guest is going to be on at around 2:30, and in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about the snow, right? So we haven't had a real snowstorm in Philadelphia in almost 2 years. Right around the time, actually bought a snowblower in 2016. I was like, well, you know, with a long driveway, we're not going to have to, because I'm not shoveling all this snow. And man, it just did not snow. We haven't gotten any kind of snow to do anything with it. So when it snowed yesterday, I was so happy. And for those of you who are on my Facebook page, last night while I was sleeping, I get up at 3 o'clock every morning. So by 7 o'clock, I'm knocked out, right? So while I was sleeping, somewhere around 9 p.m., I awakened to, Woody. Hi, Woody. Woody, are you there?
And you awakened to your husband, but I do think.
No, I awakened to someone shoveling my snow. outside, Woody, was so cool. The young man that I had helped some while ago was shoveling my snow.
Well, that was because he
wasn't that
respects
so
you.
nice?
He respects
That was
you.
so nice.
And the young lady you had on the other day, Karima, she was awesome.
Yes.
These young people are coming. But you said you interviewed Harry Belafonte. Well, that brother we all make errors, but we got to keep the kids involved with the stuff that we're doing. Miss Laura that just got off with Deacon Matthews. All of this is good stuff that you're putting together, but I also am in your head because I feel you when I feel you thinking. And it's great what you're doing, and I just wanted to applaud you. But one question I had for you is, I didn't know it snowed in Jamaica, ma.
It don't snow in no damn Jamaica. You know it don't snow in no Jamaica. So it was so much fun to go wheeling out there this morning and driving in the snow, and it was, I really enjoyed it. I was really happy.
Well, let me tell you what I would enjoy. I would enjoy being able not to have to see it and to wake up every day with all the trees and the coconuts and the pineapple and the fruits and I would like that and breathing in the good air, because right now our air is all affected because all they keep doing is putting up buildings and cutting down trees. The atmosphere is becoming more carbon dioxide, which is poison. That's what's killing so many people and why we have so many issues with these viruses. This COVID came, but how fast did they put that doggone vaccine together? You know that thing is not supposed to be made that quick. Donald Trump was the one that said he was going to do it.
You know why, Woody? Because they've been working on this vaccine for a while. They knew this virus was coming. If you follow the bouncing ball and go back to Obama or just before him, they were saying we need to put a protocol in place because they know these things are coming long before they make it public knowledge.
Do you know right
listen,
now?
I don't know whether they're creating them or not. I don't have that. I can't even go there with you. But what I'm saying is they knew this was
can go
coming.
there with you. They will tell you that the atmospheric conditions that we have were causing most of our own ailments and sicknesses. This is going to be used all over the world. Can you imagine how much money is going to be made on the vaccines? You know, it's unbelievable. They were talking about the cows and the animals. We got more cows than anything else. The animals here in this country and around the world, all the animals are gone. There's very few left. But the cows, they say when they pass gas, that affects the atmosphere because what they're shooting up and giving these animals is the hormones and the growth hormones and a lot of the antibiotics and all this other stuff. That gas from so many cows, that gas is affecting the atmosphere. That's just one of the things. But the scientists know that, so you can look that up and see for yourself. There's stuff going on all around us, and we don't know it. So that's what friends are so good for, just to let each other know. So that's why I say, you from Jamaica, I'm from here, someone else is from Africa, someone else is from Italy. You know, you want to connect with the world. That's why I love when they say one love from where you come from. It makes a lot of sense.
Thank you, Woody. All right, talk to you soon.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Bye-bye.
My husband says methane comes from the cows. It's true. Tucker, how are you? I have like 30 seconds. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm not going to hold you, but we were all concerned about Sister Mary.
Yes.
She called in to the ladies, I think it's the Black Women's Show on
the Black Women's Leadership Council. Yes. My husband said he heard her. Yes.
Fine. She's doing fine. She was doing, I think, writing a book or something, and she said she will not be calling, like she normally would be calling, but she just want everybody to know she's doing fine.
Okay, good, because I was worried about Miss Mary. Thank you for that.
Because the first time I'm calling, but I miss her too.
Yes.
But anyway, she called in yesterday. She's fine, and she let everybody know. I think she's writing a book or something, but she's doing well.
Oh, good. Thank you, and let her know that I was asking about her. I like Miss Mary now. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. All right, I have a guest on the line, but let me take Jamila quickly from North Philly. Jamila, are you there?
Yeah, sister. Welcome. I haven't spoken with you, but I wanted to answer the call about what's going on with the Democratic Party. You got political bullies. I'm going through some of that nonsense right now, but I'm really much fortified with prayer and everything wrapped around me. But when you have a political bully that you don't get things done in your community, look at the 5th District. We got the president of city council. I'm going to name names, okay? And it looks like hell. We got murder and mayhem. We got eminent domain and all of that going on, and they want you to shut up and act like it's okay. Hell no. I just want to say it publicly. I will never stop saying what the facts are. You can document it, trust but verify. It's a hellish situation. We're in like hell in North Philly. We're all kinds of nonsense. We can't even focus on the real issues of saving lives of our youth because we're busy dealing with design and housing issues that really could be handled downtown. I want to also say the governmental process is what has us in a tizzy. They do all kinds of foolish things, and then when they implement it uptown and downtown and all around town, they wonder what happened, like extending this 10-year tax abatement. Either it was going to be ratcheted down or it's not. And then we seem to be scared to speak out in public. That's what the public forum is about. Till the wheels fall off, till God takes me out of here, I will be fighting for the future of our families. That seems like to be denied. I'm going to let you give it your guess. I'll call you again in the future.
Yes,
please
do.
Much.
Thank you so much for calling. All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, so this person tagged me on Instagram while I was like, ooh, Rashid Rafiq Abdallah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. So Rashid has been passionately living the indie life since the age of 18. I cannot wait for you to describe that. Early on, he developed a comprehensive approach to event production and promotion, allowing his clients to focus on their product or performance instead of worrying about operational and logistical details. How are you, sir?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me on. How are you?
I am so good. So talk to us about your passion project.
Yeah, so this is the second annual Indie Biz Weekend. We started it last year. It was called Small Business Saturday, and this year we expanded it and really changed the format quite a bit because of the COVID situation. So what we did was launch a program that consisted of a goodie bag raffle campaign, as well as a web series called My Indie Workspace. And so we partnered up with a number of elected officials and local organizations to sort of co-curate these goodie bags with us. And so, for example, we had a North Philly goodie bag that we did in partnership with Councilman Isaiah Thomas's office. And they suggested a number of small businesses, and we reached out to those businesses, bought products for them, and added them to the bag. And so by just either promoting online a local business or small business, or by shopping with a small business, you would be entered to win the contest. And so next week we're going to be making announcements. We started just this weekend, but then the snow kind of held things up. But we have the winners, and we're excited to sort of deliver those packages next week.
Oh, and so what are the prizes? I need to know.
Yes, there's quite a few. We have 5 goodie bags, and each one has got about 4 or 5 items in it. So we have 20 businesses that we worked with all together. So you have Star Fusion Restaurant. They have 2 locations in West Philly. We have a plant store called Cultivair. That's also on the north side. We have Caillou Bicycles. That's at 19th and Girard. We have the Sable Collective, which is an online business, but they were, you familiar with them?
Yes.
Exactly, yeah. So they curated their own goodie bag, and so that's one. And then we worked with also Jamie Gaultier and State Rep Rick Kudusky on the West Philly goodie bag. Also the Centennial Parkside CDC as well. So those are some of the organizations, some of the businesses. If you look at our Twitter or Instagram, we've been promoting all the various businesses that have been involved.
Give me your Instagram, because I saw that you tagged me, but I was talking at the time. What's your Instagram?
Sure, no problem. We're at Indie Life Media on all the platforms. So INDIELIFEMEDIA.
Describe what an indie life is.
The indie life is essentially anyone who is working for themselves, and I'm beginning to add to that. I think people who are working remotely. It's not quite indie, but it's got a lot of indie traits. So really you have anything from artists to entrepreneurs, small business owners. That could be a very small business with just 1 employee, or that could be a much larger small business.
So I have been living the indie life for 20-something years.
There you go. Exactly. That's it. Welcome to the club.
Listen, almost 30 years now, but wow, let me stop. Yep, about 26 years I've been living the indie life.
Wow. Was that all on radio, or?
Yeah, I have just found that it was easier for me to do this on my own and work. I have people that work with me and I have people that contracted with me, but I just found it easier to run my own businesses versus working for someone else because so much time was wasted. And as someone with different kinds of talents, I was able to just put them under one big umbrella very recently and make it work. But the indie life is what it's about, honey. And as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, you'll never go hungry. You know what I'm telling you?
That's right.
So I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of you as well. That's excellent.
Oh, so all right. So is it too late for people to join this thing, to shop with small businesses? How does this going?
So the program is over. It ended last Sunday. But we are going to be making the announcement, but it's never too late to shop small, shop local, shop black. So we really did this to help just push folks over the mindset and get more in the mindset of shopping local. And so when you have an opportunity, just try and do some research, see what's out there, see who's out there, and put them on a list for yourself. And when you need an item, like that, don't go to the big box store if you can spare it, and go to the smaller folks. That's really what we want to push.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Let me just tell you, I stopped shopping big box stores in 2014, cold turkey, for anything, lotions, anything you can think of. I've tried to find local black stores to shop in, and I have found that it is just so rewarding. So in our house, 80% of our monies float in black businesses.
That's
right?
amazing.
Our plumber is black, the electrician is black. We are very intentional about supporting folks. Our mason is black, to make sure that we continue to support folks around us. And so it's very important. And I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Do you have a list of black businesses that folks can go to?
So we will be publishing, once we announce the winners next week, we're going to publish the list of the 20 businesses that were involved. Currently, you'll see them sort of scattered on our page, but we will be publishing a list. Also, Councilman Isaiah Thomas's office has invited us to work with him on his 2021 Black Business Crawl. So we're in the midst of planning that with him for next year as well. And so he's also developed a really strong list of black businesses. And so part of what we're going to talk to them about is how can we expand that list, make it more public, make it more digestible, and that sort of thing.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure talking to you. I have another guest coming on right after you, and let us know what came out of it. Who are the winners next week, okay?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, the next time you have something going on, let me know ahead of schedule so we can get more people involved and putting it together. Okay? All right. Thank you. All right. Have a good one. Oh, you're welcome. Bye-bye. I want to address something that I usually try not to pay too much attention to some things, but Lillian Williams said something here. The lady was speaking on really important issues going on in the city. She was calling out things going on in North Philly, and you cut her off. So let me say this to you, Miss Lillian Williams. I try very hard to make sure that I give the WURD listeners as much time, the callers, when they call in. What you can't see from your end is that I have a list of people that are coming on, and I have to make sure that I get them in and out, guests that are on, that I have to make sure I get them in and out because WURD runs because we pay for these, the commercials are sent to us, so we have to make sure that the commercials are read on time and done on time. So while it may seem like I was cutting that woman off, I invited her to call back in at another time, and we can continue to have the conversation, but I can't, we don't pay the bills by just talking to WURD listeners. I have to make sure that the guests get on and do the commercials and make sure that all of that is going on. So, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And quite frankly, Ms. Lillian, I talk so much about what's going on in this city over and again. And we will continue to talk about what's going on in this city. But I'm also, I do realize from Joseph Simmons that Sister Jamila will get her to call back in and talk to her at some point, okay? So there you go. I hope that explained it for you so you didn't think I was just cutting her off. Want to buy black for the holidays? We have got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wurdradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. Michael, before you come back on the air after the break, play a black holiday song. Silent Night comes to mind for me. Play the few bars of Silent Night from Mother. I think it was the Temptations that did it. That's my favorite before we come back to the next guest. We will be right back after these messages.
This message is from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. COVID-19 is still a threat in our communities, but we can all do something simple to help stop the spread. It's critically important to wear a mask or face covering whenever you're in public or around others. Yes, even while social distancing. Wearing a mask shows you care for yourself and your community and is essential to slowing the spread of COVID-19. So love yourself, love your neighbors, wear a mask.
Seniors, does your doctor regularly reach out to check on you? Can you walk into your doctor's office and see them if you need to? Do you have your doctor's cell phone number and can you call them anytime, day or night? At Dedicated Senior Medical Center, their only specialty is caring for seniors. Dedicated makes it easy to get the primary care you deserve. Doctors spend more time with patients than the doctors you may be used to. They offer telehealth visits, help you get your medications, and even make sure you get to your appointments. If your doctor isn't treating you like family, it's time to say yes to Dedicated Senior Medical Center. Call Dedicated Senior Medical Center today to schedule a visit and find out what you're missing. Call 267-443-1900. That's 267-443-1900. Appointments are available now.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app. Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media.
Tune in Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. to hear Empire Capital and Consulting founder Mark Palmer's show titled Black Money, Black Power. This show centers around black money and how black power is derived from money. Tune in every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Black Money, Black Power. Hosted by Mark Palmer.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
In my mind, I want you to be free. For all of my friends, would you listen to me? Now hear what I say. We wish you a Merry Christmas to each all of you, one of you. Silent night.
Merry Christmas to all of you. All right, I know I'm all over here somewhere. Rashid was so good. Go look up the Indie Life Media and go see what's going on over there. And shop small, black and local businesses, please. I love it too, Vicky. I love Silent Night too. And I find that, when I first began hosting on The Source, I would, play all this great music and I would be in the studios jamming. I love music, right? But then it got to the place, the topics got so serious. There was so much going on in the country. We had an election, then we had a virus, then all this other stuff was going on. In January of this year, December 2019, started with November 2019. We flew to go visit my parents. Thank God we did at the time. My husband and I spent some time with them with my youngest son. December, I was at PA Society. January, I was doing a couple of other things. And January, I went to Puerto Rico for my birthday, right? And right as our plane took off to come back to Pennsylvania, that first major earthquake hit. Then I went to California, Los Angeles, California, to do the red carpet for the NAACP Image Awards. And then all hell broke loose. I was like, thank God I got all my traveling in. I haven't seen a plane since January, since when I go to California, February, for the NAACP Image Awards, early February. And like all of you, I want to get on that plane and go travel and be footloose and fancy free, or take my car across the country and meet all kinds of different people. But man, it got so serious that I forgot to play. Not that I forgot, but I wanted to get the WURD listening audience in, wanted to hear more of their voices. And then we had such serious topics to discuss that I haven't had time to play music. I used to have a whole musical list, I'm telling you, and was adding to that list the whole time. So thank you all so much for your patience. Let's see. And I said, Merry Christmas to you too. Listen, again, some people are going to celebrate Christmas, some people are not. I just cannot. I just love the song. Lord, y'all, give mother a break. Let me breathe for a little bit. Some things you're not going to agree with, and that is okay. I absolutely love the song, though, and it's one of my favorites that I play every year. So happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate that means the most to you, then that is where we want to be. Michael, I am assuming that Elijah Johnson has not called in yet. The Pennsylvania, I'm going to talk about Elijah Johnson a little bit, and hopefully he'll call in soon. The Pennsylvania Coalition for Public Charter School holds an annual essay contest where the winning students earn gift cards for their efforts. Last year, 2019, and before the pandemic, guest speaker Dr. Steve Perry announced the winners, giving them a chance to take a picture with the renowned school choice advocate before his keynote address at the annual conference. This year, they held the conference despite the pandemic's impact on holding in person. The theme of this year's essay contest matched up with Thanksgiving. Why I am thankful for my academic home, my charter school. The winner for the 10th, 12th grade cohort was a young man by the name of Elijah Johnson. This young man is one that exemplifies both the grit and determination that we commend in our young people, yet he also highlights many of the challenges our young people are facing both now during the pandemic and prior. Elijah Johnson is a 19-year-old high schooler that aged out of the foster care system. He is homeless. He currently lives in a car with his brother, working at Grubhub and an assortment of odd jobs in order to sustain himself while he attends Achievement House Charter School, a cyber charter school here in Pennsylvania, to earn his high school diploma. Some of his essay includes, I am so happy to be a part of this school, the opportunities that this school offers and has. It almost made me cry that I could have a second chance at my education and that this school is willing to help their students be successful in class and in life. Ooh, children get to me all the time. Don't cry, Andrea. I've never felt such a greater welcome to a school in life. This school continues to surprise me each day. This young man and his brother are two of thousands of black children around the nation that face a constant uphill battle due to broken families, imbalance within the adoption process, and failures within the foster care system. Living in Philadelphia, the city with the highest rate of poverty of the 10 largest cities in America, it would be easy for Elijah and his brother to give up and give in to temptations and hopelessness. However, Elijah doesn't and won't, for himself and for his brother. We can't give up on him either. So I'm waiting for Elijah to call, and in the meantime, let me talk to Lola. Lola, are you there?
Yes. Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call. I've been listening to you and Charles, but I was working and I couldn't call in. I just wanted to say thank you so much for bringing in all the information that you do and mostly all the hosts do. I just wanted to talk about so many issues with black people, but the thing with the charter schools.
Yes.
It's just like they keep saying all these. Every school should be held accountable for teaching our children. But the public school district has had, 70 years? You had a woman on there earlier. She sounded older, and she said that they've been saying the same things about the Philadelphia school district since she was young. So I don't know how old she was, but, I mean, this has been going on for 60, 70 years, that the public school system has not taught our children and are putting our children out here without the proper reading skills, the writing skills, don't know how to get a job, don't know how to count, don't know how to do anything. But then again, they want to come up against another system that is trying to do something for our children. I know a lot of kids that have went to charter schools that the mother's only choices, and this is one of the reasons we moved just a little bit up out of Philly. One of the main reasons that people choose charter schools is because of what the public school systems have done. They have not taught the children. And think about it. The kids who are now in school, the parents were probably products of those schools who have not been taught. So how, it's just like really crazy that people keep saying these things about charter school instead of trying to get behind them and saying that it's a choice. I mean, it's just crazy to me, Andrea, that the public school system has had all this time and has continued to fail and fail. $3 billion that the other woman just spoke of, and they are not producing anything more than they produced 70 years ago.
You know what, Lola, I can't even disagree with you. And and I know in the suburbs they're working really hard to keep the charter school systems out of there by offering their own online virtual charter. But what folks don't realize is if you don't treat all children well, right? That parents are going to move their children and put them where they think their children are going to be best served. That is a thing for any parent for their children. Now, there are some parents like me who walked in the building and said, okay, what we're not doing today is, and would do it on behalf of so many hundreds of children, right? But that is wearing and it's taxing. Every child should have the opportunity to be treated well and given the grace and space. And in our African American, our black and brown communities, we're so traumatized on every level. Good God Almighty. Like, there's so much going on.
Exactly.
Education.
And just to say this, that no child should be taught off based on where they live, based off what the taxes that their parents are paying. Poverty is something that nobody wants to be poor. Nobody wants to say, you know what, I want to live a life of poverty, so I'm going to only pay $500 or $1,000 in taxes. So therefore, now based off of what I'm paying in taxes, my children get less, I get less, all my services are less. No, because this is it's just by design. Because all of these, and then you have the magnet schools that put in where you have people who live in certain sections that are of a different persuasion. Their kids are put in, even if they still live in like a Mount Airy or Germantown or wherever, West Philly, their kids are still somehow pushed into these magnet schools when our children, who are very, 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 very smart, are still told, no, oh, you know what, you don't make it. You can't get in it, but you know what? Go to this neighborhood school where they beat you up. The teachers don't care. They call out, and they're not trying to teach our children proficient learning. I'm just really, I'm not saying charter schools are, number one or A+ or whatever, but they have not been in the game as long as the public school district. And the charter schools are giving parents a different perspective on how to teach their children, with also teaching their children at home. The public school system has to be reformed. How can we have our kids out here like this, Andrea, when you don't know how to read and write, and you're coming up in this century? It's not right.
Let me tell you something, Lola.
I know, Miss Mary.
I know, because you said, you know what, you remind me so much of Miss Mary. God bless you.
My God.
You please call me again. I need you to keep calling me, okay?
I will.
Because you and I are on the right page here, and I'm like 4 minutes behind getting off to get in the commercials. But thank you so much for calling, Miss Lola.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. All right, bye-bye. I am Lord, Elijah is on the line. Don't hang up, son. I can't wait to talk to you. Kind of glad I have the breather between you and Miss Lola, because I was reading your story and just about fell out my chair again. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
With Internet Essentials from Comcast for only $9.95 a month, you get more. High-speed home internet service included. Peace of mind with X-Fi Advanced Security included. Access to millions of X-Fi Wi-Fi hotspots, that's included too. Internet Essentials from Comcast brings you affordable, high-speed internet to your home for only $9.95 a month. When you're connected, you're ready for anything. Visit InternetEssentials.com for more information. Taxes extra. Restrictions apply.
America's biopharmaceutical companies are making progress against COVID-19, now with several promising vaccine candidates in Phase 3 clinical trials. With an effort to include people from every walk of life, these trials involve tens of thousands of participants. From development to clinical trials and throughout the manufacturing process, these medicines and vaccines are rigorously tested for safety and effectiveness. Go to pharma.org/coronavirus for updates. Because science is how we get back to normal. Paid for by Pharma.
The onWURD Podcast. Check out the onWURD 2020 in Black podcast series. Available now on your favorite podcast app, or visit WURDradio.com/2020 in Black. You can also ask your favorite device to play onWURD 2020 in Black.
Tune in this Sunday at 4 p.m. for the Judge and Jetty Show with retired Judge Thomasina Tynes and attorney Jetty Newkirk, with things you don't know and should know.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Independent Black Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I am going to be incredibly transparent with all of you. There is something that I haven't quite been able to work through yet in my head when it comes to young people. Watching young people go through anything, even when they achieve with alacrity, makes me cry. And so when Troy sent Elijah's story over to me, I was hoping that I'd be able to do it without getting emotional about it, but I read his story and here I am, right? Elijah, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
All right. So, Elijah, you know, your story is so remarkable to me. Let's talk about your the essay contest. Why did you apply? Why did you do this? All right, Elijah, I'm going to get myself together just for you. Okay. What made you write in to this essay contest, and how did you feel when you won, and what did you win when you won?
I felt happy. I felt relieved that someone actually cared to listen to my story.
Did you win anything for the essay contest, or just they just gave?
I won $100 for the essay contest, and I was happy to get to receive it. It was a blessing to receive that gift before the holidays.
Yes. So Elijah, you aged out of the foster care system. Have you been in the foster care system your whole life?
Yes, I was. I was in the foster care system my whole life. I was actually put into the foster care system because of reasons that my mom was deemed unreliable to take care of me because she was young and she already had another child, and after she had me, she had lost a child, and she was going through a lot of stress and emotional stress. So DHS took me from her, and they allowed me to go to my godmother's house, who I was adopted by. So after that, after I was adopted by her, my godmom got a divorce. It was my goddad, and we had to separate. We had to go to a different house. I actually grew up in the Mount Airy area and in the Montgomery County area, and it is a lot of bullying around there and a lot of bull crap that goes around there. I've witnessed and have been bullied before in that area. But I aged out of the system because I was tired of being, subjected to being told what to do, where to go, and all placements, and being separated by people, and then making different bonds, and then losing bonds with people and not seeing them again, And I decided that, I was tired of the government making money off of me. I signed myself out, and they kicked me out without my Social Security card, my birth certificate. I didn't have no information on me, and it was hard for me to get a job. It was hard for me to do anything, and I went to Achievement House trying to get back into school, and they accepted me as a homeless student, thank God, and I was, really glad that I was able to get my education back and succeed.
So, it says here that you're stuck in a middle ground of no longer qualifying for aid services as a child, but you're not old enough to have access to other types of aid. So if you don't have a Social Security card, trying to get one without an address is nearly impossible. Have you been able to work that through? Is there a public official that can help you with that process?
Actually, my school is helping me get my Social Security card.
Okay.
They are helping me with a lot of things as well.
Okay. And it says here that you live in Philadelphia with your older brother who's attending community college. Are you both homeless? Are you both homeless at this point?
No, we are not anymore. The mayor actually helped us with getting housing, and we live in a house now.
All right, Mayor Kenny. Yes. Oh, well. All right. So how long have you been in that house?
It's been about a couple of weeks. We've been in there. I'll say about 3 weeks in, maybe about a month now.
Okay. Explain to people what it is like to have a solid roof over your head. Because I think we take for granted that we have housing and we have warm bellies. And what does that feel like to you to move from your car to having shelter over your head at this point?
What it feels like to move from a car to a house, it feels good to be able to come home. It feels good to be able to walk into a door. It feels so good to walk into a house that has heat, a house that has water. You know, I can be able to wash up. I can be able to, change clothes, do everything that I need to do as a human. I can get sleep better. It's a big difference from sleeping in a car, Sometimes in the car you're cramped up. You have to keep turning the car on to keep heat inside the car so people don't get cold,
You have been through a lot in your 19 years, and yet you sound so optimistic and hopeful. What drives you?
What drives me is my brother.
Your brother.
My brother, he drives me to keep going, to never give up. I'll say he's been a really big help. I would say that my brother has actually helped me the most other than Achievement House, my school, because, without him, I would not have a house. Without my brother, I would still be on the streets or trying to figure out where I can go. Without my brother, I don't think I would have known about Achievement House because she introduced me to Achievement House, actually. Because he was in the beginning trying to help me get my education. And he tried to go through his college, and they were bull crapping around saying, "Oh, you don't have an ID, so we can't help you." But Achievement House showed me otherwise, and he showed me otherwise that there are other people that will say yes, not say no. And, he's also been really strong throughout this whole process. He's been spending a lot of money on gas, hotel rooms sometimes, just food, everything, just driving. He also tries to work for Grubhub, and he would work. He worked 24. He used to work 24 hours a day. Just imagine how a cop sits in his car on a regular day, right? And then times that by like the whole day. Like the cop doesn't leave the car at all. He's just, that's his duty. That's what he's doing the whole day.
Wow. What do you want people to know about Elijah beyond this story that we're talking about now? You won the essay contest. Your brother is clearly very important to you. Have you been able to be in contact with your mother at all, or have you lost all contact with her?
I don't contact my mom. She is one of the reasons why I became homeless as well, because she wouldn't allow me to be in her house anymore. So my brother stepped in and was a brother, a friend, someone that I could put my trust in, that I knew would take care of me. That I really didn't even know like that, to be honest.
Wow. How did you meet your brother?
Me and my brother, we met a couple years ago through friends and family, actually, and we just clicked years ago, and then I got into some bad issues with DHS, and I called him for help, and he was there to help me.
And he stayed there and continued to help you.
Mm-hmm.
What advice do you have for young people who may find themselves, who are homeless? Because the homeless population in Philadelphia is nothing to joke at, right? We talk about it in abstract terms, like those people over there, but quite frankly, it could happen to any one of us. Homelessness is something that can happen to anybody at any given time. What advice do you have for folks who are facing homelessness and are feeling hopeless at this point?
Go get help. Tell your story to anybody, to anyone. Reach out as much as you can to everyone. Don't also just, like, beg for, like, I must say money, I guess. Instead, like, go to buildings, go to corporations, go, like, tell them your story. Let people know that, listen, I'm going through a rough time right now. This is what's going on. I need help. Can you help me? What are my options? Can you guys help me get this? Can you guys help me with this? Can you guys help me with housing? Is there even an option for me to get housing?
Right.
Or is there something better?
So here you are, born and raised in these United States of America. Were you born in the city of Philadelphia?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. And so through a set of circumstances that were not your own, through no fault of your own, you ended up, you are actually in a worse place than an immigrant that was born somewhere else and came here. And this is so insane. You were born in this country, cannot get access to your papers because you do not have an address. Where does the system, I'm just trying to figure out how the system finds a place for people, young people like you, and older people who have never seen a Social Security card or a birth certificate. What does that look like for them? What gives you hope,
It
Elijah?
looks like around a bunch of loops, a bunch of circles, a bunch of people telling you to call this number and to set up an appointment, and then they never answer, or they hang up, or they do answer and tell you that, oh, we're not letting people in the building at this moment because of the pandemic. And then you go to the building, you say that I have an appointment, or they say it's a dire need. Oh, they're only letting people in for dire need. But people that are homeless, that need information about themselves, or people that need to get their housing set up, that's a dire need, but yet they're not letting people inside the building. The Social Security building, I mean, is not letting people inside the building, and then they call the federal the federal police on you, saying that it's a ruckus, a riot outside, people are being violent, and then they come out with their vests and guns drawn on you, and it's like, wow. I'm only just trying to get help and information from you guys so I can get to school, so I can benefit my life and help benefit my life. But I'm getting the cops called. So
what gives you hope? What drives you beyond your brother, Elijah? Talk to me. What are your dreams of the future? Tell me that.
My dreams of the future is to be a business owner, also having a doctorate degree as well, working inside of a hospital to, like, help people get over, like, diseases and nerve damage and things like that, because I know people that have certain things that have, like, nerve damage in their bodies, acid reflux and all, like, bad things that harm the body. I think that, like, people shouldn't go through that. Like, there should be something that should cure that or to get rid of it. And also I want to have my own business as well.
I didn't think I'd be able to make it through this interview, but you have been just so wonderful. Do you know what kind of business you'd like to have? Anything that you're gifted and talented with that you want to start?
Is it okay if my brother says something?
Yes.
And
yes.
I'll,
Come on, brother. Let me let your brother. I'll talk to your brother.
Okay. I would like to sell, I guess, hair care products, hygiene products.
Okay.
regular stuff, clothes. I'm thinking, I was actually thinking about starting a clothing line for my business. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Listen, that's a lot. Is your brother there with you?
Yes, he is.
Let me speak to him, please. What's his name?
His name is Mark.
Okay, let me talk to him.
All right.
Mark?
Hey, what's up?
So I am listening to your brother, and the first thing I can say to you is thank you.
You're welcome.
I know firsthand what it's like to have siblings that care about you. And what you have done for Elijah is nothing short of a miracle, because you were willing to struggle and suffer right alongside your brother. And you can hear the emotion in my voice. If there was no coronavirus, I would be hugging the stuffing out of you right now, right? You're literally saving your brother's life. And so I want to say thank you. Thank you. What would you like the WURD listeners to know about you and Elijah, and what your plans are? It says here that you have to pay $900 a month for your small apartment now.
Yes, I do have to pay. My rent is $900 a month. I am being helped with the city of Philadelphia for getting my rent paid for about 6 months. But after 6 months, I will have to start paying my own rent. But I just wanted to go back really quick off of a question that you asked Elijah, and it was in reference to his Social Security card, and what should he tell kids and children who might be listening to you right now, who's having issues and who's homeless and who's having to run around and who can't get anywhere because they don't have identification. Their best interest is to go to Achievement House Charter School. Their best interest is to immediately call somebody at Achievement House so they can get talked to and they can get help, because Achievement House accepts students without a ID or with an ID, without a social or with a social. They accept students immediately, and they give students help, and they get students help, and they get students where they need to be. They got Elijah a $1,000 laptop. They got Elijah books that's over $1,000. He didn't have to pay anything. So he didn't have to have an ID to go to school. When I took him to CCP at my college, I'm a criminal justice student. I graduate in 2 more semesters with the AAS in justice. And I took him to try and get him enrolled in our Gateway program. And our Gateway program is supposed to help high school dropout students. And they did not help him at all. And that's another conversation that we can get into, but just know that that they did not help him at all. And to keep somebody from getting their education just because they don't have an ID, but they have a face sheet that shows who they are with their face, and but they don't have an ID or they might not know their social, is really ridiculous. And then to have the government shutting down the Social Security Administration so people can't get help is ridiculous in itself.
Yeah, I you know what I'd love to do is talk to someone from Achievement House Charter School, get them on the air with me, because you're right. What they're doing is life-saving and life-affirming in ways that most people don't even realize. I want to thank you and Elijah so much. Continue to hold on to each other. Continue to support one another. And I suspect this will not be the last time we hear from you. Happy holidays in the best way I know how to help you guys. Let's figure out. Let's figure it out. There's some folks that I can talk to. Oh my gosh, I know a group of people that could actually get food to you. Before you hang up the phone, leave with the producer for me your address.
Okay.
And I work with a group of people.
We do
don't give it to me. Don't give it to me on the line, because there's thousands of people listening. But give it to the producer.
If people wanted to make donations, they can make immediate donations to my Cash App if they would. If they would like.
What is your Cash App, darling? What's your
Cash
App?
My Cash App is Cash App sign Prince PRINCE KEESE.
KE
Prince PRINCE KEESE.
KEESE. Prince Keys. Okay. Yes. I'll make sure to tell people about that. Thank you both so much. I wish you every good thing that could happen. And remember, out of the ashes, you will rise and do amazing things. You hear what I'm saying to the both of you? Keep the faith, okay?
Yes.
All right. Bye, Elijah.
Bye.
Bye. Congratulations again, son. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye. When I tell you there's so much craziness, so much that is going on that makes no sense. If you want to help Elijah and his brother, Elijah, for those of you who are just joining us, the charter school reached out to me, Achievement House, I believe that's what who reached out to me to let me know about Elijah and that he won this contest. And so I wanted to interview him, has aged out of the foster care system, lived in a car with his brother. He won $100 for this essay contest that he was in, but I wanted to talk to him. You want to do something for the holidays beyond buying a bunch of gifts for people who will probably end up in a thrift store somewhere because we have just way too much anyway. Please, the Cash App for them is $Prince, PRINCE, K as in kite, E as in egg, E as in egg, S as in Sam, E as in egg. Cash sign Prince Keys. Thank you all so much for considering these young people. The mayor of the city of Philadelphia, Mayor Kenny, helped them to get housing. I will post it, Lucy. The mayor just helped them to get housing, will help them to pay their rent for the first 6 months, but then after that they have to figure it out on their own. And it is $900 a month. They went from living in their car. It's going to be all right. But I do know of an organization that was looking to donate food, and I really believe that they could truly benefit from this. Okay, breathe, Andrea. Want to buy black for the holidays? We have got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
What's up, Philly? It's Sincerely Sarita. The school year is underway, but never before has that experience come in so many shapes and sizes. Is the education of your child being left to a smattering of clumsy in-person and virtual instruction? The COVID-19 crisis has created a market for untested virtual teaching models lacking true credibility. Maybe it's time to reconsider and exercise your choice. Maybe it's time to check out Commonwealth Charter Academy. Here are the benefits to your family. 1, an online education provided at no cost to you, complete with laptop, headset, and help with internet access. 2, partnership with the market leader in cyber education with a nearly 20-year track record of world-class learning. And 3, delivery of a safe, reliable, and comfortable education experience over the internet directly to the confines of your living room. Visit ccaeducate.me today and discover the gold standard of cyber education. That's ccaeducate.me.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, trying to work people more than 8 hours without overtime, trying to work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
PECO is here to help this winter. With LIHEAP, you can get up to a $1,000 cash grant towards your PECO bill. You don't have to be behind on your bill to qualify, and you'll never have to pay it back. Even a family of 4 with an annual income of $40,000 is eligible. So don't count yourself out. This deal is first come, first served, so apply now at PECO.com/LIHEAP or call 800-34-HELP4. That's 800-34-HELP4.
Need a new mattress? Stop by to see Julian, the Mattress Man, located at 7421 Stenton Avenue. You deal directly with the owner, Julian, to ensure the best prices on name brand mattresses like Sealy, Posturepedic. Call 215-424-5550. That's 215-424-5550.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. This is the time when we are exploring the 100th anniversary of the women's right to vote, which is brought to you by Comcast, NBC Universal. I am going to delve into that topic shortly, but I wanted to let those of you who are just joining us know that I just had an interview with a young man by the name of Elijah Johnson, who is a 19-year-old high schooler that aged out of the foster care system. He's homeless. Well, he was homeless. They just got a home, a small apartment 3 weeks ago through the mayor and the city of Philadelphia. He was living in a car with his brother, working at Grubhub and an assortment of odd jobs in order to sustain himself and his brother. I believe it was Achievement House that helped him to get here. So he's stuck in a middle ground, no longer qualifying for aid services as a child, but isn't old enough to have access to other types of aid. Elijah said something that stuck me hard. He says when he goes to these different places to try and get help, to the Social Security Administration, to explain to them their stories, and because of COVID, all sorts of new restrictions are in place. I want to say this to people who are in social services. If you are if you work in an organization, if you are, whether it's Social Security, whether it's whatever it is, any kind of, if you're a police officer, if you're a teacher, anything, social worker, anything like that, practice empathy. When people are traumatized and don't know where their next minute is coming from, sometimes when they walk into your spaces, they may not be able to articulate to you in a way where you may not feel affronted. But at the end of the day, you'll be able to either put a ticket in to get a transpass to go to a bus to get a warm place, or to get in your car and turn on the ignition and go home to your family. We have to just really be mindful about the way we treat people when they come in front of us. Brought to mind a story that I remembered in Abington, right there at Keswick Avenue. There is a store called O'Neill's Market, and I was sitting outside watching this woman throw breadcrumbs to the birds. Birds would come. And she said to me one particular day when I was out there, because I used to go to O'Neill's and pick up my little things, that she just needed a ride up the street. And when she got in my car, I knew where she was going, because there's a home for people who have all sorts of issues. I could tell that she hadn't bathed in a while. And I took her up the street, got her out my car, wished her well. And she says, "Can I hug you?" And I said, yes. And she hugged me. And she says, people don't want to talk to me because I smell and because they don't know what my story is. And she says, "I have some mental health issues. I live in this home right now." And it does not take much for us to practice kindness and empathy. You might not want to hug somebody because they smell, but you never know how that hug may help someone. That hug may help someone who may not have been hugged in years, right? You can always go home and change your clothes, take a bath, whatever it is. But if you have $2 more than someone who has nothing, you still have $2 more. So treat people well. It is very, very important, okay? Elijah's brother got on the line and gave us his Cash App. And so we want to make sure that if you can help them. I'm going to figure out a way to help them too, in terms of food delivery, that they can have food on a regular basis so that they don't have to worry about that piece. My head hurts just thinking about it. It's too much. It's days like today that I want to get off the air and never come back, because it gets so difficult to hear these kinds of stories and not be heartbroken by them. To know that there are people out here that, even as we talk to Elijah and his brother, and that they have a place to live in for the time being, that there's so many people that continues to be homeless, so many homeless encampments, people who don't know where their next meals are going to be. And so it it gives me a special kind of irritation when I see people shouting at one another and talking about how wonderful they are and trying to be seen with celebrities and national folks. And so much is wrong here in this city. And just in other places in the countries around the world. I prefer working behind the scenes and doing things to help as much as I can, because just sitting here and talking about it is untenable for me. I don't like it at all. So this just in, speaking of women's right to vote in the 100th anniversary, President-elect Biden to select Deb Haaland as Interior Secretary, the first Native American to hold that position if confirmed. The Department of the Interior is home to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Haaland, 59, Democrat from New Mexico, is an enrolled citizen of the Pueblo of Laguna Native American tribe and serves on the House Natural Resources Committee. She was one of the first 2 Native American women elected to the United States Congress, the other being Representative Sharice Davis, Democrat from Kansas City. I see and notice that President-elect Joe Biden is really making sure that his cabinet looks diverse as it possibly can be. Pete Buttigieg is a millennial, which means he's still in his 30s, is LGBTQ. The doors are opening in ways. The mayor of Colorado City is in the city of Colorado. I'm sorry, the mayor of Colorado. My brain is not working right now. I still have Elijah on my brain. But the mayor in Colorado, one of the mayors in Colorado is LGBTQ2 with a husband. And so we're seeing things shift in America in a way. We can't just talk about our own issues and about our own people and what we want and really not look and make sure that we're helping others and being empathetic about the lives of others around us, whether we agree with it or not, or them or not. The original people here, some folks call them the Native Indians. I've had the pleasure of visiting many of their tribes as I traveled across the country, listened to them, went on tours where they allowed tours to happen, and learned about the hardships that are happening within those Indian reservations, that the government oftentimes, they're their own entity, but they struggle so much when sickness and diseases strike the country. They also deal with it at a harsher level as Black people. And so it's a lot. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm moving right along. So difficult sometimes. So I am opening this up so I can talk about it, and hopefully there was no noise behind it. Making full use of the lens of multilateralism. Again, this is the segment where we're exploring the 100th anniversary of the women's right to vote that is brought to you by Comcast, NBC Universal. In 1986, United States President Ronald Reagan and the Soviet Premier Mikhail Gorbachev met in Reykjavik, Iceland, at the emblematic Hofoi House, and the progress achieved at that summit led to the end of the Cold War. Women, however, were conspicuously absent from that gathering. During the Reykjavik Global Forum 2020, women presidents, prime ministers, and special guests gathered together digitally for the 3rd annual Power Together Reykjavik Summit. Tell you, Hooked on Phonics works, where multilateralism was determined to be key to advancing the women, peace, and security agenda. This high-level roundtable was co-hosted by Georgetown University Institute for Women, Peace, and Security. Through the lens of multilateralism, participants examined numerous threats to women, peace, and security, ranging from the COVID-19 pandemic to climate change, all of them posing immediate challenges that are affecting societies worldwide. Leaders at every level of government and from civil society and academia must be prepared to join forces through regional and international responses for the betterment of all. Ideas brought forth at this discussion emphasize the current critical need and opportunity to increase both the number and influence of women in positions of leadership, especially at the local level. Woo! All right, Joseph said Biden just nominated a 44-year-old brother for head of the EPA. Yes, honey. Yes, come on with it. All right, now, Joseph, you done messed up my whole thing that I was reading over here. Ideas brought forth at this discussion emphasize the current critical need and opportunity to increase both the numbers and influence of women in positions of leadership, especially at the local level. Further actions recommended at the summit include promoting the role of educators in multilateral solutions, implementing budgeting that is both gender assessed and needs based, and strengthening networks of women leaders. It's about time. These valuable outcomes are sure to prove instrumental in expediting needed progress on the women, peace, and security agenda. So this is good stuff. Thank you, Brianna, for making sure that I had that. I was looking for things that we could talk about. Let me run right over here. The brother's name that was just nominated, a 44-year-old black man, was nominated as the head of the Environment Protection Agency. His name is Michael Reagan. Thank you. 21st century strategy, more women is good for business. This was written in October, and I don't see who it was written by. It's written by womenpoliticalleaders.org. If the increased inclusion of women at all levels of business provide tangible benefits for equality and the economy, then why is progress so slow? Asked Silvana Coach Merhin, founder and president of WPL, to the panelists of the session's 21st Century Strategy, More Women is Good for Business, which took place on September 22nd, 2020. Women Political Leaders, or WPL, and the Arizona State University, ACU, co-hosted this session as a part of the United Nations Global Compact's United Businesses Live event to mark the opening of the 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly. The answer to this question lies in business strategy and international organizations and governments alike to have a clear role that they must play. Research clearly demonstrates that the gross domestic product experience measurable improvements when more women participate in the economy and the workforce. As suggested by Rania Al-Mashat, Egyptian Minister of International Cooperation and Minister of Tourism from 2018 to 2020, it has therefore become essential to reframe the conversation and shift it from a gender issue to an economic issue. And so I want to talk to you as I read this piece about Stacey Abrams and what she has done in Georgia, and has really brought the spotlight to really what women can do when, even as we're being shuffled off to the side and told to move into a corner, the Democratic and the Republican parties are both in awe of Stacey Abrams and what she was able to accomplish after she ran for governor, and essentially the election was stolen from right underneath her. She generated and energized the base, the Democratic base in Georgia, got more people registered to vote than you could ever possibly imagine, and was able to raise millions of dollars. And I do mean millions in a very short period of time. And so when women are invited to the table, whether you want to invite women or not to the table, please understand that our roles are valuable, that we understand that our roles are valuable, and we will create our own table, right? At this 100th anniversary of the women's right to vote, 100 years later, black women were not allowed to vote for some 40-something years, even after that was ratified. So it hasn't been quite 100 years for us. Maybe even more than that, because probably more than that, was more than 40 years before black women were able to vote. And yet today in 2020, we see that black women are leading the charge. Black woman led the charge. A young black woman, Sincere Harris, led the charge in Pennsylvania and was running the Democratic Party here quietly, right? And overturned seats that were long-held Republican seats for as long as she could remember. She is in her 30s doing amazing work. They're black women that are still quietly doing things that you all probably won't even know about until they're ready to raise their heads. Simone Sanders, who people were fussing and complaining that she only became the public relations person for Kamala Harris. I would say that is a very strategic move, and one that she knew what she was doing, right? So don't discount her yet. She took a position that she wanted, and I believe that we'll see in a few years why she took that position. So You know, the time has long come for black women and women around the world, really, to step into leadership positions. We finally, in 2020, have a woman in the second most powerful position in this country. We still have not yet been able to, in this country's 200-plus year history, of having a woman as president of this country, but I believe that will come. We're slowly shifting and having women mayors, women that are mayors, women that are governors of this country, and so we see that good things can happen. But let's not wait too much longer, because the time and the essence of the time is now. And to quote my 24-year-old son, it is time for us to have more women in places of leadership, and tell some of these old folks to go sit down somewhere and watch how it is done. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
COVID-19 affected many things this year, including regular vaccinations. Vaccines are safe, effective, and protect against serious diseases. Make sure you and your family are up to date on all vaccinations. Together, we can keep each other safe and healthy. Let's stay protected together. Get vaccinated today. For more information, visit health.pa.gov. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
This is not a fad for us.
We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are
Undeniably,
indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media.
WURD.
Livelihood. The new initiative from WURD Radio, connecting Philadelphians to jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey.
Work, 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 work. To me, I be work.
Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I always use these last few minutes to talk about what's happening locally and nationally. And if you want to talk, call me now, because, you know, I get off the air at exactly 3:55 so that Evening Words has time to get on, and that producer gets in the studio to get themselves prepared to start that show. So God bless Dee Patel, who sends us these news things every day. I don't even know which one. Okay. PhillyTrib.com. Nearly 1/3 of Black Americans remain hesitant to get COVID-19 vaccine. Studies show. Study finds. As the first COVID-19 vaccinations are being administered across the country this week, Black Americans remain among the groups that have the least confidence in the vaccine, according to a study from the Kaiser Family Foundation. The findings come as the nation's top health leaders urge Black people to trust the vaccine by hosting live events where Black health professionals are among the first to receive and administer it. The Kaiser study found that 35% of Black Americans would probably or definitely not get the vaccine if it was determined to be safe by scientists and widely available for free. Hold on. All right. Of the Black Americans who are hesitant to get the vaccines, the majority, or 71%, said they were concerned about possible side effects. Half were worried they would get COVID-19 from taking the vaccine, and 48% said they have a general distrust in vaccines. Other studies have noted that Black and Latino people cite distrust in the federal government and the nation's history of racism in medical research as key reasons for their hesitancy. Sandra Lindsay, a Black critical care nurse at Long Island Jewish Medical Center, was one of the first Americans to receive the vaccine on Monday. Lindsay told CNN's Anderson Cooper that she felt fine after taking the vaccine and said that the shot felt no different than the influenza vaccine she gets annually. I have no fear. I trust my profession is deeply rooted in science, Lindsay said. What I don't trust is getting COVID-19 because I don't know how it will affect me and the people around me that I could potentially transfer the virus to. Nearly 40% of reported COVID-19 cases have been Black and Latino people, according to the Center for Disease Control. Many of the people of color are concerned the vaccine developers haven't taken into account the needs of their ethnic group, the Kaiser study also shows. It found that 48% of Black adults said that they were not confident that the needs of Black people were considered, and 36% of Latina adults said the same about the needs of Latino people. However, people of color overwhelmingly, or 85%, said they would trust the vaccine information from their personal doctor or healthcare provider at least a fair amount, according to the study. Black doctors have been at the forefront of efforts to build trust around the vaccine with Black people. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. George, are you there, my love? What's going on?
How are you today?
Listen.
Down. But you know, you had two guests, and both of them were good. The young man, listen, I wish I had known that beforehand, because all he has to do is go to any elected official, and then he's listening. With his problems, which most elected officials don't like to deal with homeless people, which he's not homeless, but they don't even like to even tell you about the programs. All they want you to get out of their office, most of them. But if he's listening, whatever it is that he needs with his paperwork, go to a state rep or his council person, and if they can't give him the proper paperwork, I'm going to get in touch with you. And I promise you he'll get his paperwork as quick as they can get it. See, right now, everybody's playing the game because they don't have to be in their office, and they ain't even forwarding their phone numbers. They're getting paid, but they had a good 6 or 7 months of a free ride, getting a free paycheck, and now they just started answering the phones because I've been saying that nobody's been in their offices. And, you know, just call your council person's office and see if the phones transfer going in. Now they might do it. They ain't going to have enough time. But before you go off the air, everybody who know their council person's office, call it. Yeah. See if they're in the office. Is anybody going to answer? They're supposed to answer the phones up to 5 o'clock.
Okay.
You know, and it's a shame that, you know, they plan on this pandemic like at the council and all that there. You see what they do. They be on this Zoom. They don't even have to deal with you. Now they even have community meetings on Zoom. Most people don't even know nothing about it. But when they run, I hope they can explain how they got 4 years end up doing nothing or 2 years end up doing nothing. You know?
Well, when they run, hopefully they're viable candidates who can challenge their seats so that they don't just run and get in again with 2 extra votes, 5 extra votes.
It ain't going to happen. We're going to put up safeguards this time. See, I'm going to really go after some of them. So, you know, I don't care how much money they have. See, when you know the game and how the game is played, it's not hard to get rid of somebody if you want. You know, misfortunately, they got rid of a couple of people that shouldn't have been gotten rid of. You know, you take good stuff and replace it with garbage. It's like you have a trash bag in your house that's there, but it's not bothering nothing or causing nothing, but then you bring in garbage. You get rid. I'm just tired of looking at that bag, but then you tell everybody, bring your stuff on it. They start bringing their trash in, and that's what they do, you know. And they always talk about we want young people. No, you want young, qualified people. Like the 3 young ladies you named, you never hear about them. You never hear about them, and they do more than any black elected official that we have in the city.
Yeah, they're killing the game. They're too busy working to be doing shout-outs. I'm trying to tell you. They are with Stacey Abrams. Everyone who wants to run for office should should do a whole lesson on how to work like Stacey Abrams worked. Abrams worked.
Normally,
You hear what I'm telling you?
We have two of them here in Philadelphia that you never hear anything about that was involved in major campaigns. And I talk to them at least twice, 3 times a week. And I always tell them, listen, keep people out of your business and just do what you're doing. You know, I say, because believe me, all they're going to do is tell you these old-time stories or beat you down. And these girls are not suck-ups. That's what I love about them. They do their work. They come with the facts. See, if you have facts, you don't have to kiss up to anybody or suck up to anybody. And I keep saying that so people, these listeners, can understand. The only thing elected officials understand is respect and fear. If they don't fear you or respect you, you get nothing. The more you kiss up to them and praise them, the less you get. You get nothing. And listen, thank God that you're on the air, because you have a better understanding than some people that's been around 15, 20 years doing the same thing you're doing. They have I'm not going to say that. They got to do what their boss tell them to do. You know, a lot of them got a boss other than their original boss that writes their check. Whose food you eat is whose song you sing. You know, the mayor owns a lot of people that you would never believe that he owns, okay? And trust me, they know I know who they are, and I'm just waiting for 1 or 2 of them to get out of line saying anything that they ain't supposed to say or don't service people that they supposed to service. Listen, if I send somebody to them, I can't complain because they take care of them. But the moment
so we need a couple of council, and I got to get off the line because I got to leave the show, and I got one more person on the line that I have to talk to. But the council members at large, those 2 young men, let's see if we can get some of these council members at large to help them. And I'm putting you on it, George, please. So just go ahead and try to figure out. I will make sure.
Any one of those council people they go to, but first of all, you got to find out who's in their office.
Right. All right. So
so when they go there, they're gonna get service. Believe me.
Okay. All right.
Service.
Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. All right. Talk to you soon. All right. Listen to me, y'all. 2 minutes left before I get off the air. Yusef, you get a minute. Prince, you get a minute. What's up, Yusef?
Yes, I just wanted to speak on about the young man that came out that foster care system. And how a lot of homeless. It's sad that and it's almost 2021 and that nonsense is still going on. But I just wanted to let people know who are listening, who have come out that system, that there's 3 entities that local government are afraid of, which is like social service, Department of Human Service, the police. There's 3 people that you can go to that will deal with them because they're afraid to lose their job, they're afraid to be arrested, and they're afraid to go to jail. And that's the FBI, that's the Pennsylvania Department of Health, and the Pennsylvania Social Services. Don't go to these local people, the city or the county, because they're going to cover up for each other. Those 3 departments will take care of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yusef. That's a good idea. He's absolutely right. And Prince, you get the last minute. How are you, sir?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Hanging in there today.
I know that's right. Sorry, so late. Hey, you don't even need to send them. You can take and send them to me. All right. So
okay.
We can put them to work. And then my thing is, here's the thing. You can follow back up with me and send them to me, and I'll have a job for them. It doesn't make any sense to send them to city council people.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to do it. I have the phone number, I have their address, and I have the email address. I will send them straight to you. Prince, email my alsanders@wurdradio.com. Email me, please, how they can get in touch with you, and I will send them. Thank you. Now that's what I'm talking about. A solution right on the spot. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it.
Have a good weekend.
All right, you too. All right, bye-bye. All right, what a great way to end the show. I was feeling so deflated, like another person just going through it. But Prince is going to help them, so this is good in terms of getting a job so that they can work, so they can afford to pay their rent as the time comes on. It's difficult out here, but I'm heartened by so many of you. Happy holidays to those of you. I'll be on the air next week. I'll be off the week after that. Coming up next is Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.